Hey, YouTube people, I'm Insane Elaine, and welcome to our book club. It's a big night. We're starting the book that started it all. I forgot to set a timer. I always forget something. It's like mandatory. But we will fade the YouTube listening time. We'll play our national anthem, and then we'll get into the book that started it all. And you know what's the weirdest thing? Is there was actual like 50 Shades related news that came up today. I did not go looking for this. It just came up in my feed. Uh, and I'd heard this, and I thought that I knew why. Because there have been rumors the last couple of weeks or so that there was a fourth 50 Shades movie coming, which I figured was either because I've said before, there's been rumors that the trilogy's getting remade. That's been going around for like over a year now. I don't really believe that because it's just too soon. Though, if you look at the timing of Spider-Man and Fantastic Four movies, maybe not. But I don't think that the 50 Shades movies are getting remade. And it's confirmed now there is not a fourth. It was being said that like Netflix was gonna do the reverse point of view books, which I am gonna read. Those I've never read. Those are 100% blind. These are blind to the point where I read the first two when the first movie came out, and I have not touched them since. So I will probably remember bits and pieces, but it's entirely likely that I'm more remembering the movie than anything in the book. So we'll see what we come across once we get going. Um, time to change up our mornings. How bad is it? I looked at this earlier because I was like, do I need to change any of this from when it was for the Mr. and the Mrs. to now that it's 50 Shades? Do I need to actually change anything? Answer: no, I did not need to change a single word. It was all perfectly fine. And I got to do better on the thumbnail. That is an AI generated thumbnail because that is an option, and I wanted to see what it would come up with. And that is what it came up with, and it was very bad. But I had one of those days where I kept trying to find 10 minutes to make a good thumbnail. I never got the 10 minutes, so I had to resort to hitting the AI button. And I'm sorry. I will do better in future. I sometime this week I will make a decent thumbnail. I have the idea in my head. I just didn't have time to do it because everything that could possibly go wrong today went wrong today. It was that day. And more than that, it was even though it's Saturday, my building was still being worked on, so there was crazy noise, and I had to deal with upset pets, and then I had to deal with idiots, and it was just one thing after another today. So I did not get to my to-do list, which included making a much better thumbnail. But that will happen. There will be a better thumbnail because the AI it let me down. I was not impressed. So there's that. All right, that is close enough. YouTube, if you're listening, which you might be, there is no music in what I'm about to play. Stop flagging it for copyright and saying there's Korean pop songs in it. There isn't. I really don't know what YouTube's problem is, but it has one. All right, all rise for our national anthem.
If you're still struggling with consent, just imagine instead of initiating sex, you're making them a cup of tea. You say, "Hey, would you like a cup of tea?" And they go, "Oh my God, I would love a cup of tea, thank you." Then you know they want a cup of tea. If you say, "Hey, would you like a cup of tea?" And they're like, I'm not really sure." Then you can make them a cup of tea, or not, but be aware that they might not drink it. And if they don't drink it, then, and this is the important bit, don't make them drink it. Just because you made it doesn't mean you're entitled to watch them drink it. And if they say, "No thank you," then don't make them tea. At all. Just don't make them tea. Don't make them drink tea. Don't get annoyed at them for not wanting tea. They just don't want tea, okay? They might say, "Yes, please, that's kind of you." And then when the tea arrives, they actually don't want the tea at all. Sure, that's kind of annoying as you've gone to all the effort of making the tea, but they remain under no obligation to drink the tea. They did want tea, now they don't. Some people change their mind in the time it takes to boil the kettle, brew the tea, and add the milk. And it's okay for people to change their mind, and you are still not entitled to watch them drink it. And if they are unconscious, don't make them tea. Unconscious people don't want tea, and they can't answer the question, do you want tea? Because they're unconscious. Okay, maybe they were conscious when you asked them if they wanted tea, and they said yes, but in the time it took you to boil the kettle or brew the tea and add the milk, they are now unconscious. You should just put the tea down, make sure the unconscious person is safe, and this is the important part again, don't make them drink the tea. They said yes then, sure, but unconscious people don't want tea. If someone said yes to tea, started drinking it, and then passed out before they'd finished it, don't keep on pouring it down their throat. Take the tea away. Make sure they are safe, because unconscious people don't want tea. Trust me on this. If someone said yes to tea around your house last Saturday, that doesn't mean they want you to make them tea all the time. They don't want you to come around to their place unexpectedly and make them tea and force them to drink it, going, but you wanted tea last week, or to wake up to find you pouring tea down their throat, going, but you wanted tea last night. If you can understand how completely ludicrous it is to force people to have tea when they don't want tea, and you are able to understand when people don't want tea, then how hard is it to understand when it comes to sex? Whether it's tea or sex, consent is everything. And on that note, I'm going to make myself a cup of tea.
Yay! All right, here we are. Oh, wow, my face looks way paler. This is a new foundation. It's a little strong. Now that I'm seeing it, a little strong. But this is an official 50 Shades tie that I discovered that I had. I did not remember that I owned this, but I was digging through my toy box and I found a whole bunch of stuff that I'd forgotten about, including this. So I learned how to tie it. I need improvement on the tie tying. I'm aware that it needs work. I will get better. This is like my third attempt, and at least it works. It slides up and down, and I can take it on and off without completely untying it. That was improvement, because the first two times I screwed it up. Like, I don't even know what I did wrong, but it was wrong because it wouldn't tie, and it didn't have the triangle. Because tying a tie is hard, as I learned. I never had to tie a tie before, ever. So this was a learning curve, and yeah, wow. And it's one of those things that I know, like, guys learn how to do it, and then they can just, like, do it without even looking. Because, you know, why would you? It just becomes, like, rote memory. Ow. I tried to do my makeup so nice, and I look like such trash. But we are here, and I will be wearing the tie. No, I haven't decided if I'm gonna just keep a uniform, because, like, Christian Grey has, like, he's always just wearing the same thing. Like, wardrobe is very easy. Or if I'm gonna change it up. And no matter what I go with, the tie is staying. The tie will be here every week, and hopefully I will get better at tying it. I also have another little surprise that I'm going to show off in just a little while. But here it is, the infamous book that started it all, coming directly from Twilight fan fiction, posted online, written on a Crackberry, and then got translated into this, and then published. We have 500 pages. 500 pages, and somehow it's only 26 chapters. So it's 7 chapters less than the 2 books we already read, and it has more pages. So I can state with certainty there are going to be weeks where there's only going to be 2 chapters because of page count. Because some of these have got to be ridiculously long. And I'm guessing it's very uneven. I haven't gone through and, like, counted the pages on every chapter yet, but some of them just have to be really long. Also, I noticed flipping through, there are no page breaks. So This may be a little harder to read because the font it's very brick, like the way that it's written. I swear this did not go to an editor at all, even though supposedly they were editing it like up to release, and it still had the original. This is not a first run, but I was told the first runs had just massive problems with not only just having a ton of like spelling errors and typos, legit just typos, that there was like no structure. It was just a jumbled mess because it was written on a Crackberry. What do you expect? So yeah, it was like borderline unpublishable, but they had already, committed. So it came out and got ripped apart. But yeah, so if I sound dumber than usual trying to read, I'm just saying the formatting is not conducive to easy reading. Oh, I'm so tired already. I've had such a long day. And now I'm talking to myself on the internet because, of course, like the week that everybody that I know that usually comes is away is the day we're starting. But hopefully things will pick up. We'll see. But we're gonna press on because that's what we do. And it's all for posterity, right? All right, here we go. 50 Shades of Grey. God help me. Chapter 1. I scowl with frustration at myself in the mirror. Damn my hair. It just won't behave. And damn Catherine Kavanaugh for being ill and subjecting me to this ordeal. I should be studying for my final exams, which are next week. Yet here I am trying to brush my hair into submission. We're like 3 lines in. Just already name dropping submission. Somebody kill me. I must not sleep with it wet. I must not sleep with it wet. Reciting this mantra several times, I attempt once more to bring it under control with the brush. I roll my eyes in exasperation. Sorry, I'm so tired. And gaze at the pale, brown-haired girl with blue eyes too big for her face staring back at me and give up. My only option is to restrain my wayward hair into a ponytail and hope that I look semi-presentable. I'm gonna absolutely just die from all these not subtle hints at BDSM stuff that the author knows nothing about and destroyed an entire community. I was into things when these came out and having a good time, and then these came out and they really did wreck a number of like places that I used to be able to hang. And I am not crying. I'm just hot. But yeah, I saw firsthand the absolutely really scary and really obnoxious effect these books had on the BDSM community as a whole. And they really did. Also, I still find it hilarious that in the UK they had to put out a public service announcement telling people to stop trying things you read in 50 Shades. You don't know what you're doing and people are ending up at the hospital because of it. That was a real thing. Look it up. That was a real UK public service announcement saying, please stop trying things from 50 Shades. You will end up in the hospital. Or having to call the fire department to cut you free. Don't do it. Kate, my roommate, and Kate is my roommate, and she has chosen today of all days to succumb to the flu. Therefore, she cannot attend the interview she'd arranged to do with some mega industrial tycoon I've never heard of for the student paper. Because mega industrial tycoons give interviews to student papers. Ever. So I've been volunteered. I have final exams to cram for and one essay to finish, and I'm supposed to be working this afternoon. But no, today I have to drive 165 miles to downtown Seattle in order to meet the enigmatic CEO of Gray Enterprises Holding, Inc. As an exceptional entrepreneur and major benefactor of our university, his time is extraordinarily precious. much more precious than mine. But he's granted Kate an interview. It's a real coup, she tells me. Damn her extracurricular activities. Kate is huddled on the couch in the living room. Anna, I'm sorry. It took me 9 months to get this interview. It'll take another 6 to reschedule. We'll both have graduated by then. As the editor, I can't blow this off. Please? Kate begs me in her rasping, sore throat voice. How does she do it? She sounds like me right now. Okay, I gotta stop checking to see that I didn't skip a page. I didn't skip a page, it's just bad writing. Looks germane and gorgeous. Strawberry blonde hair in place and bright green eyes, although now red-rimmed and runny. I ignore my pang of unwelcome sympathy. Of course I'll go, Kate. You should get back in bed. Would you like some NyQuil or Tylenol? NyQuil, please. Here are the questions and my digital recorder. Just press record here. Make notes. I'll transcribe it all. Like, if you had an interview with somebody that you've been trying for 9 months to get, would you really, like, is she really that sick? Would you not, like, just maybe do it by phone instead of in person? Like, you don't have to actually go there. But this was written by an author who doesn't understand technology, so there is that. I know nothing about him, I murmur, trying and failing to suppress my rising panic. The questions will see you through. Go. It's a long drive and I don't want you to be late. Okay, I'm going. Get back to bed. I made you some soup to heat up later. I stare at her fondly. Only for you, Kate, would I do this. I will. Good luck, and thanks, Anna. As usual, you're my lifesaver. Gathering my backpack, I smile wryly at her and then head out to the door to the car. I cannot believe I have let Kate talk me into this. But then Kate can talk anyone into anything. She'll make an exceptional journalist. She's articulate, strong, persuasive, argumentative, beautiful, and she's my dearest, dearest friend. Hello, Persnickety! I didn't think I'd be seeing you. I thought you were away, but I'm so glad you're here. Yes, it is the stupidest premise ever. Because what tech billionaire? Well, is he even in the tech thing? And I don't know. We never actually. I don't think we ever actually find out what Christian Grey's company does. He's just. He's just like Scrooge McDuck rich, and like nobody knows why. But yeah, if he's one of the biggest benefactors at their university, and her roommate and best friend has been trying to set this up for almost a year. Yeah, and like he's obviously, if he's a local like billionaire celebrity, everybody would know his name. Everybody would know something. His name is on buildings, for Christ's sake. You know, it's said that he gets a lot of press. He's in magazines and papers all the time. So how, or even if, let's just say, like, Anna's not a person who follows that stuff, go on Google for 5 minutes. If he's that, like, famous and popular and well-known, there's going to be, you know, bio articles and stuff all about him. Yeah, no. Yes. That is true. I'm pretty sure it's implied that the only reason Kate got an interview is because she is his type. She's blonde. Well, she's not his type because brunettes are his type, but he granted her the interview probably because she is not his type, because he only hires blonde women to work in his office because he knows he will sexually harass them otherwise. That is, he actually says that at some point. Which you would so eventually get sued for only hiring blonde women. Or like you'd hire someone that you think is blonde, but she just dyed her hair and then stops dyeing it and goes back to her natural brunette color. Like what does he do then? Fire them because they're really a brunette? You'd get sued into oblivion. The roads are clear and I set off from Vancouver, Washington towards Interstate 5. It's early and I don't have to be in Seattle until 2 this afternoon. Fortunately, Kate has lent me her sporty Mercedes CLK. I have never heard of this car, but I bet it's fancy. I'm not sure Wanda, my old VW Beetle, could make the journey in time. Oh, the Merc is fun to drive, and the miles slip away as I hit the pedal to the metal, because speeding in somebody else's car is such a smart thing to do. Oh, probably. You know this guy backgrounds everyone before he talks to them. Like, there's no way he grants an interview without doing background on the journalist. No way. My designation is the headquarters of Mr. Gray's Global Enterprise. It's a huge 20-story office building. That's not huge. The building I live in is bigger than that. 20 stories is quite small for an office building, actually. Like, my lawyer's office downtown, back when I had one, the building is like 60 floors. And it's still not one of the tallest buildings around. All curved glass and steel, an architect's utilitarian fantasy. In other words, it looks like every other office building in the history of ever. With Gray House written discreetly in steel over the glass front doors. Don't you have to be a fashion person to call something a house like House of Gucci? And he's definitely not a fashion mogul, that's for sure. Again, no idea what he actually does. I don't think we're ever told. It's 1:45 when I arrive. Oh, so you have plenty of time, but you only got there 15 minutes early? Yeah, right. I'd be freaking the hell out if I was showing up to something like this only 15 minutes early. I'd be absolutely losing my shit. Like, I'd be an hour early just so I could deal with parking and getting a coffee. When I arrive, greatly relieved that I am not late as I walk into the enormous and frankly intimidating glass, steel, and white sandstone lobby. Okay, so on the same page, she says, I have plenty of time to get there because I'm driving a fast car, and then is worried that she is almost late. That is on the same page. We're on page 4. Behind the solid sandstone desk, a very attractive, groomed, blonde young woman smiles pleasantly at me. She's wearing the sharpest charcoal suit jacket and white shirt I have ever seen. She looks immaculate. I'm here to see Mr. Gray. Anastasia Steele for Catherine Kavanaugh. Oh, God, how did I forget that her last name was Steele? How did I forget this? But I did. And it sounds dumber than I would have thought. Excuse me one moment, Miss Steele. I'm gonna crack up. I'm gonna crack every time I have to read Miss Steele. And it's this has like the Jack and Rose problem from Titanic where the names are said about 1 billion times. So I'm gonna my sanity is unlimited borrow time. Can I mention I'm exhausted? So like my ability to think rationally is already severely compromised. She arches her eyebrow as I stand self-consciously before her. Hi, Nightwolf! I'm just glad that you made it. What do we think now that there's people watching? What do we think of my tie-tying skills? I know I need improvement, but this is an actual 50 Shades of Grey tie that I discovered I owned after forgetting that I owned it because somebody sent me a bunch of the 50 Shades so-called sex merch when the movie came out as a joke. It was funny. So I had to learn how to tie this. I'm not very good at it. But it's an official tie. Ugh, I'll perk up. It's 35 minutes till the bar opens, so then I'll perk up. I still have Cosmo fixing, so there's gonna be Cosmos. Where am I? I swear every time I lose my place on this, I'm gonna die because it's just fucking wall to wall brick text. There's no page breaks. I'm beginning to wish I'd borrowed one of Kate's formal blazers rather than worn my navy blue jacket. I have made an effort and worn my one and only skirt, my sensible brown knee-length boots, and a blue sweater. For me, this is smart. I tuck one of the escaped tendrils of my hair behind my ear and pretend she doesn't intimidate me. She's being intimidated by a lobby receptionist. I'm already dying from her lack of having any spine. What does Yale James have against writing women with spines? Miss Kavanaugh is expected. Please sign in here, Miss Steele. You'll want the last elevator on the right. Press for the 20th floor. She smiles kindly at me, amused no doubt, as I sign in. She hands me a security pass that has visitor very firmly stamped on the front, and I can't help my smirk. Surely it's obvious that I'm just visiting. I don't fit in here at all. Why would that be obvious? This is a public office building. You could be there for 100 reasons. Nothing changes. I inwardly sigh. Thanking her, I walk over to the bank of elevators, past the two security men who are both far more smartly dressed than I am in their well-cut black suits. Well, maybe you should have dressed for the occasion, honey. You are in college. You are expected to know, like, kind of some things. You're about to graduate. I would expect you to have some interview outfits by now. The elevator whisked me at terminal velocity. Did I just fucking read that? Terminal velocity. She clearly didn't Google that term because she'd be dead, idiot! To the 20th floor. The doors slide open and I'm in another huge lobby. No, you're not. You're in a reception area because a lobby is a floor of a building. You are not in a lobby. You are in a reception area. Please learn words. Again, all glass, steel, and white sandstone. I'm confronted by another desk of sandstone and another young blonde woman, this time dressed impeccably in black and white, who rises to greet me, sitting in front of giant panda art, if I recall. Miss Steele, could you wait here, please? She points to a seated area of white leather chairs. You would never have that in an office because that's just ridiculous for any public place. Behind the leather chairs is a spacious glass-walled meeting room with an equally spacious dark wood table and at least 20 matching chairs around it. Yeah, I've been in plenty of rooms like that. They all look exactly the same all over the world. Beyond that, there's floor-to-ceiling window with a view of the Seattle skyline that looks through the city towards the sound. It's a stunning view. I'm momentarily paralyzed by it. Wow. What, you've never seen the skyline before? Like, and it's daytime too. I sit down, fish the questions from my backpack, and go through them, inwardly cursing Kate for not providing me with a brief biography. Again, Google it. There were phones when this was written. This came out in like when? What exactly year did this come out? It was like 2010s, though, I swear. Yeah, copyright 2011. Yeah, this edition is from April 2012. But yeah, originally published in 2011. So Google existed. I know nothing about the man I'm here to interview. That's because you're a dumbass. He could be 90 or he could be 30. The uncertainty is galling and my nerves resurface, making me fidget. I've never been comfortable with one-on-one interviews, preferring the anonymity of a group discussion where I can sit inconspicuously at the back of the room. How is she the opposite of me? I hate anything that is group. Like my worst times in school were when I was forced to do a group activity, because you know what happens when you're the smartest person in your class and you get stuck in a group? You do all the work and everybody else takes credit. Oh, and it is shocking how many of your classmates will just blatantly do nothing because they know that you will do everything. And they will get an A for doing literally nothing for 4 days. To be honest, I prefer my own company, reading a classic British novel, curled up in a chair in the campus library, not sitting twitching nervously in a colossal glass and stone edifice. So bring a book. I used to read everywhere I went. I would almost miss my stop on the bus because I'd be reading. I roll my eyes at myself. Get a grip, Steele. I'm gonna die. Judging from the building, which is too clinical and modern, I guess Gray is in his 40s. Fit, tanned, and fair-haired to match the rest of the personnel. Another elegant, flawlessly dressed blonde comes out of a large door to the right. What is it with all the immaculate blondes? It's like Stepford here. Taking a deep breath, I stand up. If anything, if I think somewhere is like Stepford, that is going to make me less intimidated by it. Because I'm just going to get like a weird cult vibe. Miss Steele, the latest blonde asks. Yes, I croak and clear my throat. Yes. There, that sounded more confident. Mr. Gray will see you in a moment. May I take your jacket? Oh, please. I struggle out of the jacket. Have you been offered any refreshment? No. Oh dear, is blonde number 1 in trouble? Oh, why are my eyes... Blonde number 2 frowns and eyes the young woman at the desk. Would you like tea, coffee, water? She asks, turning her attention back to me. A glass of water, thank you, I murmur. Olivia, please fetch Miss Steele a glass of water. Oh, I hate when people do that. Her voice is stern. Olivia scoots up and scurries to a door on the other side of the foyer. Again, not a foyer. My apologies, Miss Steele. Olivia is our new intern. Please be seated. Mr. Gray will be another 5 minutes. Olivia returns with a glass of iced water. Is it iced or just ice? I think it's just ice. Here you go, Miss Steele. Thank you. Blonde number 2 marches over to a large desk, her heels clicking and echoing off the sandstone floor. She sits down and they both continue their work. Perhaps Mr. Gray insists on all of his employees being blonde. I'm wondering idly if that's legal. When the office door opens and a tall, elegantly dressed, attractive African-American man with short dreads exits. I have definitely worn the wrong clothes. He turns and says through the door, Golf this week, Gray? I don't hear the reply. He turns, sees me, and smiles, his dark eyes crinkling at the corners. Olivia has jumped up and called the elevator. She seems to excel at jumping from her seat. She's more nervous than me. Well, she's actually working there and is an intern, so yeah. And you're not here to interview, so why do you care that you're not wearing the exact same clothes as everybody else? Good afternoon, ladies, he says as he departs through the sliding door. Mr. Gray will see you now, Miss Steele. Do go through, blonde number 2 says. I stand rather shakily, trying to suppress my nerves. Gathering up my backpack, I abandon my glass of water and make my way to the partially open door. You don't need to knock, just go in. She smiles kindly. I push open the door and stumble through, tripping over my own feet and falling headfirst into the office. Who does that? Who as an adult does that? Like, unless, like, if she said, like, the carpet was bunched up or she tripped over a vacuum cord or something, that I understand. But tripping over your own feet? as a grown-ass adult. Plus, like, did we really need this? Because in the movie, it's like it's like the first moment that I just absolutely cringed to death. Double crap. Me and my 2 left feet. I'm on my hands and knees in the doorway to Mr. Gray's office. Subtle much? And gentle hands are around me, helping me to stand. I'm so embarrassed. Damn my clumsiness. I have to steel myself to glance up. Holy cow. He's so young. Oh, I forgot about the holy cow and all the other ridiculous things that she says. Oh, we haven't even gotten to she has the voice in her head thing too. Because they cut that out of the movie because they couldn't figure out how to work it. That's right. She has like an internal voice that's ridiculous. If you want to laugh your ass off, look up the Nostalgia Critic from Comic-Con like 10 years ago. Him and a bunch of other YouTubers and comedians were crammed into a hotel room doing different like cartoon voices, reading passages of this, and it's the most hilarious thing in the entire world. It's still up on YouTube. It's amazing. Miss Kavanaugh. He extends a long-fingered hand to me once I'm upright. I'm Christian Grey. Are you all right? Would you like to sit? Okay, how has he not been informed that there was a substitution? Because you know that he is the kind of guy who would absolutely demand to know that, and his entire staff would know, like, better than to not tell him that there's been a change in who he's meeting with. So young and attractive. Very attractive. He's tall, dressed in a fine gray suit, white shirt, and black tie, with unruly dark copper-colored hair, and intense, bright gray eyes that regard me shrewdly. It takes a moment for me to find my voice. Nya. Nya, 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 nya. You see how long chapter 1 is? Okay. It's so hard to tell on any of these pages. I always like to make it through one chapter before starting drinking, but this book may make me make an exception. Actually, I'm Hutter. If this guy is over 30, then I'm a monkey's uncle. In a daze, I place my hand in his and we shake. As our fingers touch, I feel an odd, exhilarating shiver run through me. I withdraw my hand hastily, embarrassed. Must be static. I blink rapidly, my eyelids matching my heart rate. Miss Kavanaugh is indisposed, so she sent me. I hope you don't mind, Mr. Gray. And you are? His voice is warm, possibly amused. This is like the only time he's going to be described that way. But it's difficult to tell from his impassive expression. He looks mildly interested, but above all, polite. How do you look polite? Because I would like to learn that trick, because I'm rarely polite, but that's usually intentional. Anastasia Steele. I'm studying English literature with Catherine, Miss Kavanaugh at WSU Vancouver. I see, he says simply. I think I see the ghost of a smile in his expression, but I'm not sure. Would you like to sit? He waves me towards an L-shaped white leather couch. Why is everything white leather? That's a terrible idea. His office is way too big for just one man. Really? Honey, are you not aware of how this works? The bigger the asshole, the bigger the office. You know, some offices take up half the fucking floor for literally no reason. In front of the floor-to-ceiling windows, there's a modern dark wood desk that 6 people could comfortably eat around. It matches the coffee table by the couch. Everything else is white. Ceiling, floors, walls, except for the wall by the door where a mosaic of small paintings hang. 36 of them arranged in a square. They're exquisite. A series of mundane, forgotten objects painted in such precise detail they look like photographs. Displayed together, they are breathtaking. Why didn't we get to see that in the movie? Instead, they had stupid panda art. A local artist, Troughton, whatever name she made up. E.L. James sucks at naming things. Says Gray when he catches my gaze. They're lovely, raising the ordinary to extraordinary. I murmured, distracted both by him and the paintings. He cocks his head to one side and regards me intently. I couldn't agree more, Miss Steele, he replies, his voice soft, and for some inexplicable reason, I find myself blushing. 'Cause he's checking you out and you're not completely brain dead yet. Apart from the paintings, the rest of the office is cold, clean, and clinical. I wonder if it reflects the personality of the Adonis who sinks gracefully into one of the white leather chairs opposite me. Sorry calling him an Adonis. They just met. I shake my head, disturbed at the direction of my thoughts. You should be. And retrieve Kate's questions from my backpack. Didn't she already have them in her hands? Next, I set up the digital recorder and I'm all fingers and thumbs, dropping it twice on the coffee table in front of me. Mr. Gray says nothing, waiting patiently. I hope as I become increasingly embarrassed and waiting patiently, I hope as I become increasingly embarrassed and flustered. There's going to be so many of those. When I pluck up the courage to look at him, he's watching me, one hand relaxed in his lap, the other cupping his chin and trailing his long index finger across his lips. I think he's trying to suppress a smile. Sorry, I stutter. I'm not used to this. Functioning as an adult, walking and chewing gum, what? Take all the time you need, Miss Steele, he says. Do you mind if I record your answers? After you've taken so much trouble to set up the recorder, you ask me now? He's not wrong! That was my thought. So, as much as he's being a dick, he's also not being a dick. I flush. He's teasing me? I hope. No, he's pointing out that you're an idiot. I blink at him, unsure what to say, and I think he takes pity on me because he relents. No, I don't mind. Did I mean, Miss Kavanaugh, explain what the interview was for? Yes, to appear in the graduation issue of the student newspaper. I shall be conferring the degrees at this year's graduation ceremony. Oh, this is news to me, and I'm temporarily preoccupied by the thought that someone not much older than me, okay, maybe 6 years or so, and okay, mega successful, but still, is going to present me with my degree. I frown, dragging my wayward attention back to the task at hand. Good. I swallow nervously. I have some questions, Mr. Gray. I smooth a stray lock of hair behind my ear. I thought you might, he says deadpan. He's laughing at me. My cheeks heat at the realization, and I sit up and square my shoulders in an attempt to look taller and more intimidating. Pressing the start button on the recorder, I try to look professional. You're very young to have amassed such an empire. To what do you owe your success? I glance up at him. His smile is rueful, but he looks vaguely disappointed because it's the most generic question in the entire world. That's better. Business is all about people, Miss Steele, and I'm very good at judging people. I know how they tick, what makes them flourish, what doesn't, what inspires them, and how to incentivize them. I employ an exceptional team and I reward them well. He pauses and fixes me with his gray stare. My belief is to achieve success in any scheme, one has to make oneself master of that scheme. Know it inside and out. Know every detail. I work hard, very hard to do that. I make decisions based on logic and facts. I have a natural gut instinct that can spot and nurture a good, solid idea and good people. The bottom line is always down to good people, said no business person ever. I'm sorry, but people are some of the least things considered in business. Business is numbers and solid strategy and marketing. People are largely irrelevant. Maybe you're just lucky. This one isn't on Kate's list, but he's so arrogant. His eyes flare momentarily in surprise. I don't see him coming off as arrogant here. He does sound like an idiot, though. I don't subscribe to luck or chance, Miss Steele. The harder I work, the more luck I seem to have. Really? It really is all about having the right people on your team and directing their energies accordingly. I think it was Harvey Firestone who said, the growth and development of people is the highest calling of leadership. You sound like a control freak. The words are out of my mouth before I can stop them. I'm not getting that vibe. Oh, I exercise control in all things, Miss Steele. That line definitely made it into the movie. I remember that. He says without a trace of humor in his smile. I look at him and he holds my gaze steadily, impassive. My heartbeat quickens and my face flushes again. Why does he have such an unnerving effect on me? His overwhelming good looks, maybe? The way his eyes blaze at me? The way he strokes his index finger against his lower lip? I wish he'd stop doing that. Besides, immense power is acquired by assuring yourself in your secret reveries that you were born to control things. He continues, his voice soft. Dear God, I would be thinking he's the biggest tool in the world. I employ over 40,000 people, Miss Steele. That gives me a certain sense of responsibility. Power, if you will. If I were to decide I was no longer interested in the telecommunications business, oh, so he does something in telecommunications. He's Elon Musk, apparently. And sell, 20,000 people would struggle to make their mortgage payments after a month or so. My mouth drops open, and I'm staggered by his lack of humility. Really? How many self-made, successful, under 30 billionaires would you say are humble? I can't think of any. Don't you have a board to answer to? I asked, disgusted. Why? I own my company. I don't have to answer to a board. He raises an eyebrow at me. Of course, I would know this if I had done some research, but holy crap, he's arrogant. I changed tact. Again, he is not coming off as arrogant. He's coming off as stupid, but other than that, I have varied interests, Miss Steele. A ghost of a smile touches his lips. Very varied. And for some reason I'm confounded and heated by his steady gaze. His eyes are alight with some wicked thought. But if you work so hard, what do you do to chill out? Chill out? He smiles, revealing perfect white teeth. I stop breathing. He really is beautiful. No one should be this good looking. Did she wake up and eat a bowl full of horny for breakfast? Well, to chill out, as you put it. I sail, I fly, I indulge in various physical pursuits. He shifts in his chair. I'm a very wealthy man, Miss Steele, and I have expensive and absorbing hobbies. I glance quickly at Kate's questions, wanting to get off this subject. You invest in manufacturing. Why specifically? I ask. Why does he make me so uncomfortable? I like to build things. I like to know how things work, what makes things tick, how to construct and deconstruct. And I have a love of ships. What can I say? That sounds like your heart talking rather than logic and facts. His mouth quirks up and he stares appraisingly at me. Possibly, though there are people who'd say I don't have a heart. Why would I say that? Why would they say that? Because they know me well. His lips curl in a wry smile. Would your friends say you're easy to get to know? And I regret the question as soon as I say it, but it's not on Kate's list. Just abandon the list. It sounds like it was written by a high schooler. I'm a very private person, Miss Steele. I go a long way to protect my privacy and invade that of others. I don't often give interviews. Why did you agree to do this one? Because I'm a benefactor of the university, and for all my intents and purposes, I couldn't get Miss Kavanaugh off my back. Dude, you tell the receptionist not to take her calls anymore, and she goes away. She badgered and badgered my PR people, and I admire that kind of tenacity. No, he doesn't. I know how tenacious Kate can be. That's why I'm sitting here squirming uncomfortably under his penetrating gaze when I should be studying for my exams. You also invest in farming technologies. What are you interested in that area? We can't eat money, Miss Steele, and there are too many people on this planet who don't have enough to eat. That sounds very philanthropic. Is that something you feel passionately about? Feeding the world's poor? He shrugs noncommittally. It's shrewd business, he murmurs, though I think he's being disingenuous. It doesn't make sense. Feeding the world's poor? I can't see the financial benefit of this, only the virtue of the ideal. I glance at the next question, confused by his attitude. Do you have a philosophy? If so, what is it? I don't have a philosophy as such. Maybe a guiding principle. Carnegie's, a man who acquires the ability to take full possession of his own mind may take possession of anything else to which he is justly entitled. I'm sure that's quoting somebody famous. I'm a very singular driven. I'm very singular driven. That I can't like. I like control of myself and those around me. Who would ever say that in an interview? You'd get ripped apart. So you want to possess things. You are a control freak. I want to deserve to possess them. But yes, bottom line, I do. You sound like the ultimate consumer. I am. He smiles, but the smile doesn't touch his eyes. Again, this is at odds with someone who wants to feed the world. So I can't help but thinking that we're talking about something else. But I'm mystified as to what it is. I swallow hard. The temperature in the room is rising. Or maybe it's just me. I want this interview to be over. Surely Kate has enough material now. Yes, from the whole, 2 questions you've managed to ask, one of which he almost answered. I glance at the next question. You were adopted. How much do you think that shaped the way you are? Oh, this is personal. I stare at him, hoping he's not offended. His brow furrows. I have no way of knowing. My interest is piqued. How old were you when you were adopted? That's a matter of public record, Miss Steele. His tone is stern. Crap. Yes, of course. If I'd known I was doing this interview, I would have done some research. Flustered, I move on. You've had to sacrifice family life for your work. That's not a question. He's terse. Sorry, I squirm. He's made me feel like an errant child. I try again. Have you had to sacrifice family life for your work? I have a family. I have a brother and a sister and 2 loving parents. I'm not interested in extending my family beyond that. And he should keep it that way. Are you gay, Mr. Gray? He inhales sharply, and I cringe, mortified. Crap. Why didn't I employ some kind of filter before I read this straight out? How can I tell him I'm just reading the questions? He's sitting there watching you do it. Damn Kate and her curiosity. No, Anastasia, I'm not. He raises his eyebrows, a cool gleam in his eyes. He does not look pleased. Who gets pissed off at that question? It's a legit question. I apologize. It's written here. It's the first time he said my name. My heartbeat has accelerated, and my cheeks are heating up again. This girl is perpetually horny. Nervous, I tuck my loosened hair behind my ear. It's 4 times. She's done that already. 4. 4 times. He cocks his head to one side. That's 2. These aren't your own questions. The blood drains from my head. No. Kate, Miss Kavanaugh, she compiled the questions. Are you colleagues on the student paper? Oh no, I have nothing to do with the student paper. It's her extracurricular activity, not mine. My face is aflame. No, she's my roommate. He rubs his chin in quiet deliberation, his gray eyes appraising me. Did you volunteer to do this interview? He asks, his voice deadly quiet. Hang on, who's supposed to be interviewing whom? His eyes burn into me, and I'm compelled to answer with the truth. I was drafted. She's not well. My voice is weak and apologetic. That explains a great deal. There's a knock on the door and blonde number 2 enters. Mr. Gray, forgive me for interrupting, but your next meeting is in 2 minutes. We're not finished here, Andrea. Please cancel my next meeting. Andrea hesitates, gaping at him. She appears lost. He turns his head slowly to face her and raises his eyebrows. She flushes bright pink. Oh God, it's not just me. Very well, Mr. Gray, she mutters, then exits. He frowns and turns his attention back to me. Where were we, Miss Steele? Oh, we're back to Miss Steele now. Please don't let me keep you from anything. I want to know about you. I think that's only fair. Quid pro quo, Clarice. His eyes are alight with curiosity. Double crap. Where's he going with this? He places his elbows on the arms of the chair and steeples his fingers in front of his mouth. You look like Mr. Burns so much. His mouth is very distracting. I swallow. I'm just gonna ignore that it says that. There's not much to know. What are your plans after you graduate? I shrug, thrown by his interest. Move to Seattle with Kate, find a job. I haven't really thought beyond my finals. I haven't made any plans, Mr. Gray. I just need to get through my final exams, which I should be studying for right now rather than sitting in your palatial, swanky, sterile office feeling uncomfortable under your penetrating gaze. Stop saying that. We run an excellent intern program here, he says quietly. I raise my eyebrows in surprise. Is he offering me a job? Well, kinda. Intern jobs are usually unpaid, so not really. Oh, I'll bear that in mind, I murmur, confounded, though I'm not sure I'd fit in here. Oh no, I'm musing out loud again. Why do you say that? He tilts his head to one side, intrigued, a hint of a smile playing on his lips. It's obvious, isn't it? I'm uncoordinated, scruffy, and I'm not blonde. Most of this is in her head. Not to me. His gaze is intense, all humor gone, and strange muscles deep in my belly clench suddenly. I tear my eyes away from his scrutiny and stare blindly down at my knotted fingers. What's going on? I have to go. Now. I lean forward to retrieve the recorder. Would you like me to show you around? He asks. I'm sure you're far too busy, Mr. Gray, and I do have a long drive. You're driving back to Vancouver. He sounds surprised, anxious even. He glances out the window. It's begun to rain. Well, you'd better drive carefully. His tone is stern, authoritative. Why should he care? Maybe he's just being polite? Did you get everything you need? He adds. Yes, sir, I reply, packing the recorder into my backpack. His eyes narrow speculatively. Thank you for the interview, Mr. Gray. The pleasure's been all mine, he says, polite as ever. As I rise, he stands and holds out his hand. Until we meet again, Miss Steele. And it sounds like a challenge, or a threat. I'm not sure which. I frown. When will we ever meet again? I shake his hand once more, odd, uh, astounded that, uh, astounded that that odd current between us is still there. It must be my nerves. Mr. Gray, I nod at him, moving with the lithe, athletic grace to the door. He opens it wide. Just ensuring you make it through the door, Miss Steele. He gives me a small smile. Obviously, he's referring to my earlier, less than elegant entry into his office. I blush. That's very considerate, Mr. Gray. I snap, and his wide smile widens. I'm glad you find me entertaining. I glower inwardly, walking into the foyer. I'm surprised when he follows me out. Andrea and Olivia both look up equally surprised. Did you have a coat? Gray asks. A jacket. Olivia leaps up and retrieves my jacket, which Gray takes from her before she can hand it to me. He holds it up, and feeling ridiculously self-conscious, I shrug it on. Gray places his hands for a moment on. I gasp at the contact. If he notices my reaction, he gives nothing away. His long index fingers press the button summoning the elevator, and we stand waiting, awkwardly on my part, cool and self-possessed on his. The doors open and I hurry in, desperate to escape. I really need to get out of here. When I turn to look at him, he's gazing at me and leaning against the doorway beside the elevator with one hand on the wall. He's really very, very good looking. It's unnerving. Anastasia, he says as a farewell. Christian, I reply, and mercifully the doors close. End of chapter 1. It has begun. There's no turning back now. Can't remember the quote I wanted to say. Damn, I'm going to have to look that up because it's going to annoy me, but I am going to get a cup of tea. So, everybody, stretch! Reset your brain if it hasn't fallen out of your head. Pet a fur baby if there is one nearby. I will be right back in just 2 seconds. And hopefully, we'll have a puppy appearance at some point. He had a very busy day, though. He had to bark at things. He had to growl at things. He had to sit in front of the closet and whine because he hasn't seen his kitty friend all week. Kitty is still not coming out of the closet. He's been in there since Monday. He came out briefly last Sunday, the only day that it's ever quiet. And, oh no, he did dash out late Friday for some kibble. But he literally came out, ate like faster than I've ever seen him eat, and then ran back to the closet. So he's filed a change of address. He's not coming out. I feel so bad for little fur baby. But I'll be right back in 2 shakes. Talk amongst yourselves. Okay, now we getting our drink on. This is the truest thing ever said. How did I twist this up? Okay, that's better. We'll do a shot and then we'll make a Cosmo and then we'll read chapter 2 and chapter 3. And I will get through it without face palming 57 times. 55, like, at least, but we'll try to keep it down. Ah! Why am I Yeah, it's because I'm tired. It's because I'm freaking tired. I become incredibly uncoordinated when I am tired. I usually have actually quite good hand-eye coordination, but I get tired, I turn into the biggest klutz in the world. I have smacked myself in the face with things that I didn't even remember I was holding. You know, like J-Lo with the mic. Wham. Here's to us. Oh, I forgot that it's straight out of the kettle and still boiling. Okay, now we mix our Cosmo. Don't drop the bottle. That really would suck. Also, I don't want to have to clean it up. Let's put the lid on that before I spill it. And cranberry. Of course, I spilled some on my desk. I just need to cover my entire desk in paper towels, and then I will never have a problem. All right, we have our poison ivy pint glass. Very pretty. All right, we'll set that aside for a moment. All right, chapter 2. My heart is pounding. The elevator arrives on the first floor, and I scramble out as soon as the doors slide open, stumbling once, but fortunately not sprawling on the immaculate sandstone floor. If she had ate it twice in like 10 minutes, I'd be telling her to like consult a neurologist because she clearly has an issue. I race for the wide glass doors, and suddenly I'm free of the bracing, cleansing. I'm free in the bracing, cleansing, damp air of Seattle. Raising my face, I welcome the cool, refreshing rain. I close my eyes and take a deep, purifying breath, trying to recover what's left of my equilibrium. That's a good movie. No man has ever affected me the way Christian Grey has, and I cannot fathom why. Is it his looks, his civility, wealth, power? Now she's calling him civil. She was calling him an arrogant douchebag like 2 minutes ago. But now he's civil. I don't understand my irrational reaction. I breathe an enormous sigh of relief. What in heaven's name was that all about? Leaning against one of the steel pillars of the building, I valiantly attempt to calm down and gather my thoughts. I shake my head. What was that? My heart steadies to its regular rhythm, and when I can breathe normally again, I head for the car. As I leave the city limits behind, I begin to feel foolish and embarrassed as I replay the interview in my mind. Surely I'm overreacting to something that's imaginary. Okay, so he's very attractive, confident, commanding, at ease with himself. But on the flip side, he's arrogant, and for all his impeccable manners, he's autocratic and cold. Well, on the surface. An involuntary shiver runs down my spine. He may be arrogant, but then he has a right to be. He's accomplished so much at a young age. He doesn't suffer fools gladly, but why should he? Again, I'm irritated that Kate didn't give me a brief biography. While cruising towards the Interstate 5, my mind continues to wander. I'm truly perplexed as to what makes someone so driven to succeed. Some of his answers were so cryptic, as if he had a hidden agenda. And Kate's questions, ugh, the adoption and asking him if he was gay. I shudder. I can't believe I said that. Crown, swallow me up now. Every time I think of that question in future, I will cringe with embarrassment. Damn Catherine Kavanaugh. I check the speedometer. I'm driving more cautiously than I would on any other occasion. And I know it's the memory of those penetrating gray eyes gazing at me and a stern voice telling me to drive carefully. So he's already controlling her. She has like such little sense of independence or free will that is all it takes for him to control her from a distance. I shake my head. I realize Gray is more like a man twice his age. Forget it, Anna, I scold myself. I decide that, all in all, it's become a very interesting experience, but I shouldn't dwell on it. Put it behind you. I never have to see him again. I'm immediately cheered by the thought. I switch on the stereo and turn the volume up loud, sit back and listen to the thumping indie rock music as I press down on the accelerator. As I hit Interstate 5, I realize I can drive as fast as I want. Well, there are speed limits, darling. But hey, if you want to floor it to 200 and see what happens, please do. We live in a small community of duplex apartments. Hi, Mark! Good to see ya! Hey, what do you think of my tie-tying? I worked very hard, and I'm still not, I don't like this, but I don't know how to make it stop doing this. But I think I got the knot part mostly right. Thank you. That is literally the highest praise I would expect, because yeah, I know I need to work on it. I've said I will get better at the tie-tying. I'm gonna work on it. I will try to get better. I had to watch like 4 different videos to be able to understand what I was supposed to do. I kept screwing it up and like literally just tying it in a knot, and then I have to like work to get it untied because I screwed it up. I know, but I don't own a collared shirt. Button-down shirts for women are impossible. We live in a small community of duplex apartments close to the Vancouver campus of WSU. I'm lucky. Kate's parents bought the place for her, and I pay peanuts in rent. It's been home for 4 years now. As I pull up outside, I know Kate is going to want a blow-by-blow account, and she's tenacious. Well, at least she has the digital recorder. I hope I won't have to elaborate much beyond what was said during the interview. Anna, you're back. Kate sits in her living area, surrounded by books. She's clearly been studying for finals. She's still in her pink flannel PJs, decorated with cute little rabbits. The ones she reserves for the aftermath of breaking up with boyfriends, for assorted illnesses, and for generally moody depression. She bounds up to me and hugs me hard. Oh, thank you, person with the flu, for breathing right in my face. I was beginning to worry. I expected you back sooner. Oh, I thought I made good time considering the interview, ran over. By like a minute and a half. I waved the digital recorder at her. Hannah, thank you so much for doing this. I owe you. I know. How was it? What was he like? Oh no, here we go. The Catherine Kavanaugh Inquisition. I struggled to answer her questions. What can I say? I'm glad it's over and I don't have to see him again. He was rather intimidating, you know. I shrug. He's very focused, intense even, and young. Really young. Really. Why am I thinking? Everybody spare a thought for Nightwolf because he's in the path of a fire that is getting out of control and may have to evacuate. Because fire season has started early up here in Canada, especially if you are out west. Usually it's California gets set on fire first and then BC, or the other way around. They tend to trade off, but BC and Alberta have started their fire season a little early this year, and it's already getting out of control. Which sucks because we have amazing northern lights going on right now, and you couldn't see it in like half the country because of the smoke. Kate gazes innocently at me. I frown. Sorry, my throat just hates me today. Don't you look so innocent? Why didn't you give me a biography? He made me feel like such an idiot for skimping on basic research. Well, you are an adult. You could have researched it yourself, or you could have told your friend no. Kate clamps a hand to her mouth. Geez, Anna, I'm sorry. I didn't think. Well, that's true. I huff. Mostly he was courteous, formal, slightly stuffy, like he's old before his time. He doesn't talk like a man of 20-something. How old is he, anyway? 27? Geez, Anna, I'm sorry. I should have briefed you, but I was in such a panic. Let me have the recorder and I'll start transcribing the interview. You look better. Did you eat your soup? I asked, keen to change the subject. Yes, and it was delicious as usual. I'm feeling much better. She smiles at me in gratitude. I check my watch. I have to run. I can still make my shift at Clayton's. Anna, you'll be exhausted. Why? She drove to Seattle and back, and it was like 4 hours. I'll be fine. I'll see you later. I've worked at Clayton since I started at WSU. It's the largest independent hardware store in the Portland area. And over the 4 years I've worked here, I've come to know a little bit about most everything we sell. Although ironically, I'm crap at any DIY. I leave all that to my dad. I'm glad I can make my shift as it gives me something to focus on that isn't Christian Grey. We're busy. It's the start of the summer season, and folks are redecorating their homes. Mrs. Clayton looks relieved to see me. Hannah, I thought you weren't going to make it today. My appointment didn't take as long as I thought. I can do a couple of hours. I'm real pleased to see you. She sends me to the storeroom to start restocking shelves, and soon I'm absorbed in the task. When I arrive home later, Catherine is wearing headphones and working on her laptop. Her nose is still pink, but she has her teeth into a story, so she's concentrating and typing furiously. I'm thoroughly drained, exhausted by the long drive, by the grueling interview, and by being swamped at Clayton's. I slump on the couch thinking about the essay I have to finish and all the studying I should have done today because I was holed up with him. You've got some good stuff here, Anna. Well done. Really? Does she? Could you even write, like, a full article on what she got? Because I'd be struggling really hard and probably end up padding it out with, like, publicly available bio info because I have nothing from this interview. I can't believe you didn't take him up on his offer to show you around. He obviously wanted to spend more time with you. She gives me a fleeting, quizzical look. I flush and my heart rate inexplicably increases. That wasn't the reason, surely. He just wanted to show me around so I could see that he was lord of all he surveyed. I realize I'm biting my lip, and I hope Kate doesn't notice. But she seemed absorbed in her transcription. I hear what you mean about formal. Did you take any notes, she asks. No, I didn't. That's fine. I can still make a fine article with this. Shame we don't have some original stills. Good-looking son of a bitch, isn't he? Because there isn't like a billion pictures of him online. Like, you could just grab one. You don't need your own photos. I suppose so. I try hard to sound disinterested, and I think I succeed. Oh, come on, Anna. Even you can't be immune to his looks. She arches a perfect eyebrow at me. Okay, stop beating us over the head with the fact that he's good looking. Enough. Crap. I feel my cheeks heating, so I distract her with flattery. Always a good ploy. You probably would have gotten more out of him. I doubt that, Anna. Come on. He practically offered you a job. Given that I foisted this on you at the last minute, you did very well. She glances up at me speculatively. I make a hasty retreat into the kitchen. So, what did you really think of him? Damn, she's inquisitive. Why can't she just let this go? Think of something, quick. He's very driven, controlling, arrogant, scary, but very charismatic. It sounds like she's describing Charles Manson. I can't understand the fascination, I add truthfully, hoping this will shut her up once and for all. You? Fascinated by a man? That's a first, she snorts. I start gathering the makings of a sandwich so she can't see my face. Why did you want to know if he was gay? Incidentally, that was the most embarrassing question. I was mortified, and he was pissed to be asked, too. I scowl at the memory. Why is he pissed off to be asked, and why is she embarrassed to be asking? Like, he's not married. He's not, like, all over the society pages dating. I think we find out later, like, that's intentional. He never is, like, seen in public with anybody, just regardless. So, yeah, it would be logical to assume that he is gay. This is a perfectly reasonable and valid question. And again, being asked at a time when that's perfectly fine and it wouldn't have been like a big deal or like threatened his career or business in any way. Nobody would care. Wait, when did gay marriage become legal in the States? Was it legal in 2011? Wait, when was Obama's second term? Trying to do the math. No, it was. Either it was or it's pretty close. It's got to be right around there. So again, like, why would that have ever been like a big deal? Like, it's just a dumb thing to hyper focus on. Scowl at the memory. Whenever he's in the society pages, he never has a date. Yeah, see, there you go. So yeah, you would ask, or you could just ask, like, why haven't we ever seen you with a date? Do you have somebody, or are you just super private? It was embarrassing. The whole thing was embarrassing. I'm glad I'll never have to lay eyes on him again. Oh, Anna, it can't have been that bad. I think he sounds quite taken with you. Taken with me? Now Kate's being ridiculous. Would you like a sandwich? Please. We talk no more of Christian Grey that evening, much to my relief. Once we've eaten, I'm able to sit at the dining room with Kate. While she works on her article, I work on my essay on Tessa de Ubervilles. Damn, that woman was in the wrong place at the wrong time in the wrong century. By the time I'm finished, it's midnight, and Kate has long since gone to bed. I make my way to my room, exhausted but pleased that I've accomplished so much for a Monday. I curl up in my white iron bed, wrap my mother's quilt around me, and close my eyes, and I'm instantly asleep. That night I dream of dark places, bleak, cold, white floors, and gray eyes. Because of course she does. For the rest of the week, I throw myself into my studies and my job at Clayton's. Kate is busy too, compiling her last edition of the student newspaper before she has to relinquish it to the new editor, while also cramming for her finals. By Wednesday, she's much better, and I no longer have to endure the sight of her pink flannel with too many rabbits' PJs. I call my mom and Georgia to check on her, but also so she can wish me luck on my final exams. She proceeds to tell me about her latest venture into candle making. My mother is all about new business ventures. Fundamentally, she's bored and wants something to occupy her time, but she has the attention span of a goldfish. It'll be something new next week. She worries me. Hey, Nightwolf! Good to see ya! She has an idiot mother. I hope she hasn't mortgaged the house to finance this latest scheme. And I hope Bob, her relatively new but much older husband, is keeping an eye on her now that I'm no longer there. She does seem a lot more grounded than husband number 3. He does seem a lot more grounded than husband number 3. So her mom is a perpetual flake who makes bad decisions in financing, business, investments, and men. Is it any wonder? How are things with you, Anna? For a moment I hesitate, and I have my mom's full attention. I'm fine. Anna, have you met someone? Wow. How does she do that? The excitement in her voice is palpable. No, Mom, it's nothing. You'll be the first to know if I do. Anna, you really need to get out more, honey. You worry me. Said like no mom ever. Most moms would be happy if their college daughter was like not man crazy and definitely sleeping around. Mom, I'm fine. How's Bob? As ever, distraction is the best policy. Later that evening, I call Ray, my stepdad, Mom's husband number 2, the man I consider my father, and the man whose name I bear. So his name is Ray Steele. That sounds like you get hit with like cosmic superpower rays in like Spider-Man and become a supervillain. It's a brief conversation. In fact, it's not so much a conversation as a one-sided series of grunts in response to my gentle coaxing. Ray is not a talker, but he's still alive. He's still watching soccer on TV, and going bowling or fly fishing or making furniture when he's not. Ray is a skilled carpenter and the reason I know the difference between a hawk and a handsaw. All seems well with him. So he's a skilled carpenter, yet she is completely DIY inept. How does that work? Friday night, Kate and I are debating what to do with our evening. We want some time off from our studies, from our work. Apparently not. Also, if that's her mom's second husband, then that's not, and she said it's not her actual father. Does she even know who her actual father? Does her mother know? Is her mom the mom from Mamma Mia? Because it kind of sounds like she might be. So for setup, we have girl with no fixed father figure who grew up without his father, with a flaky mother, constantly in financial peril, and being raised by somebody who is completely flaky and jumped from guy to guy like nobody's business while raising a kid. Yeah, her character is actually starting to make a little bit more sense as to why what she lets happen to her happens to her. When the doorbell rings, standing on our doorstep is my good friend Jose, clutching a bottle of champagne. Jose, great to see you. I give him a quick hug. Come in. Jose is the first person I met when I arrived at WSU, looking as lost and lonely as I did. We recognized a kindred spirit in each other that day, and we've been friends ever since. Not only do we share a sense of humor, but we also discovered that Ray and Jose Sr. were in the same army unit together. As a result, our fathers have become good friends too. the name, or do you remember what becomes of his character? Because he also is somebody that should be in jail by the end by I think like halfway through this book, he should definitely be arrested. Yeah. Oh God, it is! I did not make the connection, but you're right, it is! Oh, I'm gonna think of that now because of you. Oh God, you made me do it too! Oh God! Okay, mental bleach, mental bleach, mental bleach, mental bleach. I'm gonna get you for that one. I don't know when, I don't know how, but I'm going to get you for that one. More mental bleach, more mental bleach. It's not strong enough. Jose is studying engineering and is the first in his family to make it to college. He's pretty damn bright, but his real passion is photography. I know! I know! I need something more high octane. Again, in the words of Penny Hofstetter, I drink my potion. Okay, I'm gonna have to start like marking this with a pen or something, or I'm gonna lose my place and not be able to find it like 50,000 times because there's no page breaks. Jose has a great eye for taking a good picture. I have news, he grins, dark eyes twinkling. Don't tell me. You've managed not to get kicked out for another week. I tease, and he scowls playfully at me. The Portland Place Gallery is going to exhibit my photos next month. That's amazing. Congratulations. Yeah, genuinely, if you're like right out of college and you're getting an exhibit in an actual gallery, hats the freaking off to you. That would be amazing. Excuse me. Delighted for him, I hug him again. Kate beams at him too. Way to go, Jose. I should put this in the paper. Nothing like last minute editorial changes on a Friday evening. She feigns annoyance. Let's celebrate. I want you to come to the opening. Jose looks instantly at me and I flush. Both of you, of course, he adds, glancing nervously at Kate. Jose and I are good friends, but I know deep down he'd like to be more. He's cute and funny, but he's just not for me. I'm being pawed by a puppy. And so that, of course, demands that we pick up a puppy because he's going to demand it. Hi! Look, it's a puppy! Look, it's an adorable puppy who's not licking my face because I'm sweaty. No, he's doing it because he loves me. Because he's an adorable puppy. I know you don't like it when I show you off. He really doesn't. He's not a fan of when I do this because I'm not paying enough attention to him or petting him. So why am I doing it? Okay, I'll cuddle you the way you want. It's okay. Yes, I'll cuddle you the way you want. Here you go. This is how he wants to be held. He can just stare at me and be a puppy and get petted and be loved on. And told that he did such a good job barking at the noise today. Yes, you did. He did some first-rate barking. At times, he even growled, because whatever drill they were using very much sounds like growling. Therefore, he had to respond, of course. Can't let that kind of thing go unchallenged. Yes, you did good. You did real good. Yes, you did. And since eventually the noise stopped, therefore he won. Yes, you told it off, and several hours later it stopped, so you win. Yes. It was all because of you and your super intimidating puppy skills. No, and he didn't see you trying to steal the kitty food off the table. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. The problem is when he stands up, like on his hind legs and really stretches, he can get his mouth up to the level of the dining room table. So anything that's near the edge that he can lick at. Right? Yeah. Yeah. Not that you'd eat the kitty food, no. And then barf it on the couch. Why do you always have to throw up on the couch? Hmm? You can just throw up on the floor. It would be very easy to clean up. No, of course not. No. No, no, no. That's not how that works. That's not how that works because he's a puppy. Yes. 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 You miss your kitty friend? Yeah. Even though the two of you are not nice to each other, you beat each other up. He chases you and whacks at you. Or waits behind a door to jump out at you and whack you in the face. I know, I've seen him do it. Yes. Okay. You go lay down and have a nap, okay? Yes, you go have a nap, okay? Say bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, adorable puppy. I'm gonna go lay on my pillow. Yes, down he goes. Down goes the puppy. There we go. Pillow. Of course, he immediately turns over and goes, rub my belly. Look, I'm being good. I went on the pillow like you told me. Rub my belly. Got one belly rub. Belly rub. Belly, belly, belly. He's more like the brother I never had. Catherine often teases me that I'm missing the need a boyfriend gene. But the truth is, I just haven't met anyone who, whom I'm attracted to. Even though part of me longs for the fabled trembling knees, heart in my mouth, butterflies in my belly moment. So she wants a guy who makes her sick. And also, I object to the need a boyfriend gene because I certainly never suffered from that. And I got asked in high school a lot, like, why I never dated, because I didn't and I had no interest in it and I made no secret of that. Not that I broadcast either, but it just, like, at that time in my life, a relationship was the last thing I needed. And I don't think of school as like a dating place. If it had been college, like maybe that's different. But high school, where I was literally just trying to survive and trying to like graduate, no, I was not thinking in terms of finding a relationship. I also I had not addressed my sexuality. I had basically put it on the back burner because same reason. I knew I was likely gay and I wasn't ready to confront it, but I also knew that I was not in a time or place that I was going to have a relationship, so I could back burner that issue until later, because what does it matter if I'm not looking to date anyone right now anyway? But I did get asked several times throughout high school why I was never like seeing anyone. It's like, really? It's high school. Why do I need to be being pressured to be in a relationship in high school? Like, there's time for that when we're older. Also, have you seen high school guys? Because even when I was in high school, I wouldn't have dated them for money. Of course, I was in online relationships with guys who are like 3 times as old as high school guys. That was where I lived. And I don't mean relationships like dating, I mean just sex. Sometimes I wonder if there's something wrong with me. Perhaps I've spent too long in the company of my literary romantic heroes, and consequently my ideals and expectations are far too high. But in reality, nobody's made me feel like that. Until very recently. The unwelcome, still small voice of my subconscious whispers. No. I banished the thought immediately. I'm not going there. Not after that painful interview. Are you gay, Mr. Great? Shut the fuck up, E.L. James. How did she not get called out for gay bashing with this crap? I wince at the memory. I know I've dreamed about him most nights since then. How freaking, like, mentally pliable is she if that is true? Because I've never, like, aside from people I have known who are dead, I have never dreamed about a person. Granted, I don't dream much. Or at least, they say everybody dreams, you just don't remember it. Whatever. For the dreams that I've ever remembered, the only occasions where they have involved actual, real people that I really knew were people that I knew that were dead. Otherwise, it's just like movie characters or generic like NPC made up for my dream people. Also, here's a question for the chat. Do you dream in color? Because I have always dreamed in full color with full sensation, sight, sound, touch, taste, smell. And I've been told I'm very weird for that. That I basically dream in HD and that's weird. But that's just to purge the awful experience from my system, surely. I watch Jose open the bottle of champagne. He's tall, and in his jeans and t-shirt, he's all shoulders and muscles. Tan skin, dark hair, and burning eyes. Yes, Jose is pretty hot. But I think he's finally getting the message we're just friends. The cork makes its loud pop sound, and Jose looks up and smiles. Can I just say, just because a guy is like tall and tanned and, lifts bro, why does that make them handsome? Because I've seen a billion guys like that. I've never considered any of them handsome. Now, granted, that's not what I aesthetics are not something I give a damn about, but why does that make somebody handsome? Because I've seen guys who don't look like that, who I do consider very handsome. But I also know the difference between something I find handsome and what is conventionally attractive. Because if you're just saying somebody conforms to like conventional standards of idealized beauty, then no, I don't consider them handsome. I just consider them conventionally handsome, and those are two different things. Saturday at the store is a nightmare. We're besieged by do-it-yourselfers wanting to spruce up their homes. Mr. and Mrs. Clayton and John and Patrick, the two other part-timers, and I are besieged by customers. Using that word twice in like a line and a half. You couldn't have picked another line? Did you write the same thing twice and not notice? But there's a lull around lunchtime, and Mrs. Clayton asked me to check on some orders while I'm sitting behind the counter at the cash register, discreetly eating my bagel. I'm engrossed in the task, checking catalog numbers against the items we need and the items we've ordered, eyes flicking from the order book to the computer screen and back as I make sure the entries match. Then, for some reason, I glance up and find myself locked in the bold gray gaze of Christian Grey, who's standing at the counter, staring at me. Heart failure. He killed her with a look. Miss Steele, what a pleasant surprise. His gaze is unwavering and intense. If I'm her, I don't believe for a second that this is a coincidence. Oh, like automatically, if I'm working at some if I'm working at like some local, nobody's going to know about it construction store or hardware store or whatever the fuck, and billionaire Christian Grey, who I had a weird encounter with a few days ago and who kind of creeped me out and I can't stop thinking about, if he just randomly shows up, and by the way, he lives in Seattle. He lives 165 miles, as we were told, away. So what is he doing in small town Portland at this local hardware store? Like, do we think this guy shops for himself for anything, for any reason? He has like 1.5 billion blonde assistants to do that shit for him. So I would immediately be calling bullshit on any lie he is about to say about having him be coincidentally there. Oh, what a surprise. I'd immediately be going, no, you found out that I worked here and that's why you are here. And I would not play along with the bullshit. I would immediately be like, what are you doing here? Like, and whatever excuse he'd made, I would not buy it. I'd be like, okay, then, whatever name she said of whoever else works here, that person can help you. You have a good day now. And if he tried to like keep talking to me, I'd be like, okay, clearly you came here to talk to me, so let's go outside and you can say whatever, but then you're going to leave. Holy crap. What the hell is he doing here? He's stalking you, honey. That's blatantly obvious, and anybody with half a brain would immediately know that. Looking all outdoorsy with his tousled hair and his cream, chunky knit sweater. No! That's why she said Maxim was wearing a cream, chunky knit sweater. It's the same line. Oh, that's why. I knew the line sounded weird, but I didn't recognize it. Damn it. Also, it's cable knit, bitch. What you are describing is called a cable knit sweater. Google it. His cream, chunky knit sweater and jeans and walking boots. I think my mouth is popped open and I can't locate my brain or my voice. You don't have either. Mr. Gray, I whisper, because it's all I can manage. I'm sorry we had to pause to choke on nothing. Is it raining? It might have started raining. We were supposed to get rain all day and it never happened. And I kept hoping that it would because then they would have to stop working. There's a ghost of a smile on his lips and his eyes are alight with humor as if he's enjoying some private joke. Because he is. Because he's playing Master of the Universe and puppeteering you right now and you're too stupid to see it. I was in the area, he says by way of explanation. Is that line ever true for anyone? It never is. I need to stock up on a few things. It's a pleasure to see you again, Miss Steele. His voice is warm and husky, like dark melted chocolate fudge caramel or something. Okay, ew. So many levels of ew. I shake my head to gather my wits. My heart is pounding in a frantic tempo, and for some reason I'm blushing furiously under his steady scrutiny. I'm utterly thrown by the sight of him standing before me. My memories of him do not do him justice. He's not merely good-looking. He's the epitome of male beauty. Breathtaking. And he's here. Here in Clayton's hardware store. Go figure. Finally, my cognitive functions are restored and reconnected with the rest of my body. Anna. My name is Anna, I mutter. What can I help you with, Mr. Gray? He smiles, and again it's like he's privy to some big secret. It's too disconcerting. Taking a deep breath, I put on my professional, I've worked in this shop for years facade. I can do this. There are a few items I need. To start with, I'd like some cable ties, he mutters, his expression cool and amused. Cable ties? We stock various lengths. Shall I show you? I mutter. Again, I'm like pointing him at somebody else because I'm not playing. Like, it's obvious he came there to see her, and if he's not going to admit it and be upfront, I'm going to be like, okay, yeah, that guy over there can help you, or cable ties are in aisle 4. But I'm not getting up and tending to you because A, she's minding the counter right now where the cash register is, and somebody should be sitting there, and she's eating a bagel. So, like, when have you ever gone to a hardware store or any store and immediately had a cash register person like start showing you around? Ever? I mutter, my voice soft and wavering. Get a grip, Steele. Okay, if you refer to yourself mentally by your last name, you need help. A slight frown mars Gray's rather lovely brow. Please, lead the way, Miss Steele, he says. I try for nonchalance as I come out from behind the counter, but really I'm concentrating hard on not falling over my own feet. My legs are suddenly the consistency of jello. I'm glad I decided to wear my best jeans this morning. Oh, because God forbid she looked like crap in the presence of a man. You know, any guy who has a problem with the fact that I generally look like crap and I rarely dress up or wear makeup, you can keep those thoughts to yourself or you can keep moving. They're with the electrical goods, aisle 8. My voice is a little too bright. I glance up at him and regret it almost immediately. Damn, he's handsome. I think we've officially been told about 50 times already that he is, like, defying some law of averages good looking. After you, he murmurs, gesturing with his long-fingered, beautifully manicured hand. Okay, stop it with the fingers references. It's not sexy. It's annoying. With my heart almost strangling me because it's in my throat trying to escape from my mouth, which just totally made me flash on Paper Mario Thousand Year Door, not because I'm counting the days until that's ported onto Switch and I get to play it again. And yes, I'm going to keep talking about it because I'm really excited about it. I've been waiting like 20 years for this, and it's so better be worth it. If they restore the fact that Vivian is trans, which they're not going to do, but if they did, I'd be so proud of Nintendo. They're never going to do it. But if they did, that would be, like, awesome. Mostly grateful that because I already have a membership, I don't have to pay for the game. I just hope they didn't screw it up. Because there's been issues with other games that they ported because their programming has changed. So hopefully they didn't screw it up. Or take out the creepy Peach computer relationship that is so creepy. Or if they changed her walking around naked, which is a real thing that really happens, and I think they just didn't notice what they did. I'm also very curious to see how many of the hidden stuff I remember from a game I have not played in probably 10 years. But I did play the crap out of that game like so many times. I played the full. This is a game that takes on average like 80 hours to play. And I have played it all the way through and then add like another 60 hours if you want to try and completion after game stuff because there's a ton of after game stuff. I've played the entire game and at least some of the after stuff probably over 15 times. So hopefully I remember some of the things. You know, not all of them, because I don't remember in what order you get certain abilities that you need to get secret things, but I'm hoping I remember where some stuff is. At least. If I remember like 25% of stuff, I'm good with that. No, I am going to try to 100% it. I never actually fully 100%ed it because it's pure grind after a point. But I am going to try and 100% it by the end of the year. It'll give me about 6 months to try and do it, which seems like a reasonable amount of time. Though I'm definitely going to need a checklist for the star pieces, or I'm going to go insane when I'm down to like the last 5 and I need to check all like 1,000 spots because I don't know which 5 I'm missing. So yeah, I definitely need to get a checklist for those. There's got to be an app for that. Somebody has to have made one. Why is he in Portland? Why is he here at Clayton's? And from a very tiny, underused part of my brain, that would be her entire brain, probably located at the base of my medulla oblongata, near where my subconscious dwells. It's not where the subconscious is. Comes the thought, he's here to see you. No way. I dismiss it immediately because I am brain dead. Why would this beautiful, powerful, urbane man want to see me urbane? I don't even know what that means, but I'm betting it doesn't apply. The idea is preposterous, and I kick it out of my head. Are you in Portland on business? I ask. My voice is too high. Like I've got my finger trapped in a door or something. Interesting that her mind went to like painful, damaging imagery instead of just nerves. Damn, try to be cool, Anna. Is she 14? I was visiting WSU Farming Division. It's based in Vancouver. I'm currently funding some research there in crop rotation and soil science, he says matter of factly. See? Not here to find you at all. Okay, why would he stop at a random like mom and pop hardware store? When I'm sure there's some big box store in Seattle that he could go to that would have a better selection and probably be cheaper. So again, she's an idiot. My subconscious sneers at me, loud, proud, and pouty. I flush at my foolish, wayward thoughts. All part of your feed the world plan, I tease. Something like that, he acknowledges, and his lips quirk up in half a smile. He gazes at the selection of cable ties we stock at Clayton's. What on earth is he going to do with those? I can't picture him as a do-it-yourselfer at all. His fingers trail across the various packages displayed, and for some inexplicable reason I have to look away. Oh, God. She's like so horny for no reason at all. Like, I get she's incredibly sexually repressed. I get it, but still, this is bad. He bends and selects a packet. These will do, he says with an oh-so-secret smile. Is there something else? I'd like some masking tape. Masking tape? Are you redecorating? The words are out before I can stop them. Why does she keep like saying something and then going like before she could stop herself from saying the thing? Do you have Tourette's? Are we being told that she has Tourette's? Because that's what it sounds like. Surely he hires laborers or has staff to help him decorate. Fair thought. No, not redecorating, he says quickly, then smirks, and I have the uncanny feeling that he's laughing at me. Am I that funny? Funny looking? This way, I murmur, embarrassed. Masking tape is in the decorating aisle. I glance behind me as he follows. Have you worked here long? His voice is low, and he's gazing at me, concentrating hard. I blush brightly. Why the hell does he have this effect on me? I feel like I'm 14 years old. I did not know I was going to say that when I called her that a minute ago. Also, since he's obviously buying all this crap for like implied purposes of bondage, cable ties I get, though be very, 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 very careful if you're ever using those for bondage, and also don't. That is a thing that I would have as somebody who is experienced and knows what they're doing. I would not use cable ties for bondage because they can get cinched too tightly way too easily and they're too difficult to get off in a hurry. But also, masking tape is a very poor choice for any kind of bondage tape. They do make actual bondage tapes that are designed for that because they don't have as much glue on them, because that's the problem. If the glue sinks into your skin and then you rip it off, you're going to take your skin off with it. That's why hospitals actually have, no joke, they have special like safe for people like glue remover for when somebody gets like tape or some kind of glue stuck on their skin, or especially over their mouth or something like that, so that it doesn't rip your lips off with the tape. But also, masking tape is just very easy to tear. It doesn't have a lot of strength. Even if you use a lot of it, it doesn't take much to tear it. So it would actually be ideal for some bondage purposes that way, but the glue is the issue, which is why you would not want to use it for that, because after, it doesn't take very long. It really only takes like 20 minutes before you are potentially ripping somebody's skin off with it. So, tape in general is not something I favor for bondage. Get some of the Japanese silk ropes. You can get enough to tie somebody up head to toe for about $10. It's like the same price or less than tape anyway, and it's much safer. Refill making time. We're making excellent time tonight. I don't know why. Maybe because I'm exhausted. But we're making excellent time. Eh, I think we'll make this a triple. Toi. I can pour things without spilling really, I can't. Not. Okay, yes, go back on, Cap. Cranberry juice, good. I always loved cranberry juice. Even when I was a kid, I used to get made fun of. Mm. Mm-mm-mm. Much better. Here. I glance behind as he follows me. Have you worked here long? His voice is low and he's gazing at me. And he's gazing at me, concentrating hard. Oh, 14 years old. Yeah, I already read this. Gauche, as always, and out of place. Eyes front, Miss Steele. 4 years, I murmur as we reach our goal. To distract myself, I reach down and select the 2 wicks of masking tape we stock. I'll take that one, Gray says softly, pointing to the wider tape, which I pass to him. Our fingers brush very briefly, and the current is there again, zapping through me like I've touched an exposed wire. I gasp involuntarily as I feel all the way down, as I feel it all the way down to somewhere dark and unexplored deep in my belly. Desperate, I scrabble around for my equilibrium. Anything else? My voice is husky and breathy. His eyes widen slightly. Some rope, I think. His voice mirrors mine. Husky. This way. I duck my head down to hide my recurring blush and move towards the aisle. What sort were you after? We have synthetic and natural filament rope. Twine. Cable cord. I halted. I halted his expression, his eyes darkening. Holy cow. I'll take 5 yards of the natural filament rope, please. Quickly, with trembling fingers, I measure out 5 yards against the fixed ruler, aware that his hot, gray gaze is on me. I dare not look at him. Jeez, could I feel any more self-conscious? Taking my Stanley knife from the back pocket of my jeans, I cut it and then coil it neatly before tying it in a slip knot. By some miracle, I managed not to remove a finger with my knife. Were you a Girl Scout? He asked. Sculpted, sensual lips curled in amusement. Don't look at his mouth. Gee, could we emphasize any harder what she's thinking, because it's all kind of right there. Oh, so I get she's supposed to be super horny, but seriously, girl, get a grip. Paul has materialized at the other end of the aisle. He's Mr. Clayton's youngest brother. I'd heard he was home from Princeton, but I wasn't expecting to see him today. Excuse me for a moment, Mr. Gray. Gray frowns as I turn away from him. Paul has always been a buddy, but in this strange moment that I'm having with the rich, powerful, awesomely off-the-charts attractive control freak Gray, it's great to talk to someone who's normal. Paul hugs me hard, taking me by surprise. Hannah, hi. It's so good to see you. He gushes. Didn't she say earlier she knew that he was there? She said him and somebody else were there today. Because they were busy. So why is she surprised to see him now? Hello, Paul. How are you? You home for your brother's birthday? Yep. You're looking well, Anna. Really well. He grins he grins as he examines me at arm's length. Then he releases me but keeps a possessive arm draped over my shoulders. Oh, we have another case of everybody wants her. Ugh, I hate that cliche. I shuffle from foot to foot, embarrassed. It's good to see Paul, but he's always been overly familiar. When I glance up at Christian Grey, he's watching us like a hawk. His eyes hooded and speculative. Find another word! She said speculative like 5 times. Find another word! His mouth a hard, impassive line. He changes from the weirdly attentive customer to someone else. Someone cold and distant. Paul, I'm with a customer. Someone you should meet, I say, trying to diffuse the antagonism I see in Gray's expression. I drag Paul over to meet him, and they size each other up. The atmosphere is suddenly arctic. Paul, this is Christian Grey. Mr. Grey, this is Paul Clayton. His brother owns the place. Why would you ever introduce a customer to somebody like this ever? Like, you just wouldn't. And for some irrational reason, I feel I have to explain a bit more. I've known Paul ever since I worked here, though we don't see each other that often. He's back from Princeton, where he's studying business administration. I'm babbling. Stop now. Mr. Clayton. Grey holds his hand out. He looks unreadable. Mr. Grey. Paul returns his handshake. Wait up. Not the Christian Grey. Of Grey Enterprises Holdings. Okay, see, everybody knows who he is. She's the only person on planet Earth who doesn't know who he is. Paul goes from surly to awestruck in less than a nanosecond. Gee, poser. Grey gives him a polite smile that doesn't reach his eyes. Wow, is there anything I can get you? Anastasia has it covered, Mr. Clayton. She's been very attentive. His expression is impassive, but his words, it's like he's saying something else entirely. It's baffling. Cool, Paul responds. Catch you later, Anna. Sure, Paul. I watch him disappear towards the stockroom. Anything else, Mr. Grey? Just these items. His tone is clipped and cool. Damn, have I offended him? Taking a deep breath, I turn and head for the register. What is his problem? I ring up the rope, coveralls, masking tape, and cable ties. That'll be $43, please. I glance up at Grey and wish I hadn't. He's watching me closely, intently. It's unnerving. Would you like a bag? I ask as I take his credit card. Please, Anastasia. His tongue caresses my name, and my heart once again is frantic. I can hardly breathe. Hurriedly, I place his purchases in a plastic bag. You'll call me if you want me to do the photo shoot. Did I miss a page where he offered to do that? I might have. I'm trying not to, but I don't remember that being spoken of. He's all business once more. I nod, rendered speechlessly yet again, and hand him back his credit card. Good. Until tomorrow, perhaps. He turns to leave, then pauses. Oh, and Anastasia, I'm glad Miss Kavanaugh couldn't do the interview. He smiles, then strides with renewed purpose out of the store, slinging the plastic bag over his shoulder, leaving me a quivering mass of raging female hormones. Oh, dear God. Dear God, dear God, dear God, dear God. Okay, is he wearing... Who knows their movie? Who knows their movies? Ocean's 13. Matt Damon, Ocean's 13, when he has the fake nose, which I admit, actually, I think looks good on him. And he's got the thing, they call it, what do they call it? It has a stupid name. Is it Gilroy? Gilderoy? One of the two. It's either Gilroy or Gilderoy, but it's a patch that he puts on his neck that has, like, magic exists only in movie pheromones that make the uptight businesswoman suddenly super horny, like she ate the cake from the Matrix. Is he wearing one of those? Because that would explain why she's reacting this way.
Otherwise, she's just having some kind of a mental health crisis that is triggered in his presence. Because nobody, like, I get people get horny around each other, and he's good looking, and she's very repressed and horny and ready to give it up. But nobody acts like this in real life.
I spend several minutes staring at the closed door through which he just left before I return to planet Earth. Okay, I like him. There, I've admitted it to myself. I cannot hide from my feelings anymore. I've never felt like this before. I find him attractive. Very attractive. But it's a lost cause, I know. And I sigh with bittersweet regret. It's just a coincidence. His coming here. Not a chance in hell. Nobody with half a brain, nobody with a quarter of a brain would ever think for a second that him showing up there on the day that she is there would be a coincidence, ever. Because it's just, that's not a thing. That's not a thing ever, and it never will be. But still, I can admire him from afar, surely. No harm can come of that. And if I find a photographer, I can do some more serious admiring tomorrow. I bite my lip in anticipation and find myself grinning like a schoolgirl. You are a schoolgirl. It might be college, but you're still a schoolgirl. I need to phone Kate and organize a photo shoot. Oh, and we're on to chapter 3. End of chapter! Sorry, I forgot to announce it. And after I mentioned Paper Mario, tisk. Alright, everybody stretch! Feel free to get a drink, get some snackies. Love a fur baby. I really want to eat a sandwich, but I'm going to... Oh, wait, we got one more chapter. It's going to be an early night. I don't know why, but we're flying through. Probably because nobody is here. Literally nobody is here. This is the lowest turnout we've had since I started book club, but oh well. It's bound to happen at some point. Again, it's for posterity. It's for the people that watch later, because I know that it is late at night, and some people have an actual life, so they're not here on a Saturday night, but for those of you watching later, here's to you. And I will say, for once, I will be glad that we will be done, I hope, before midnight, because, like I said, I'm really, really tired. And I would like to get at least a little bit of writing done tonight, because I haven't done any today. Well, that's not true. I've done some polishing today, because I wrote some things last night that I knew needed polish, because I was being way too flowery. Because, like I said, not good at actual, like, vanilla saccharine romance. But I'm out of there now. I'm out of that scene, and I'm on to the final scene, I hope. I have said that twice already, and it wasn't true. I said that a week ago, and it wasn't true. I said it 4 days ago, and it wasn't true. And I said it 2 days ago, and it wasn't true. So hopefully now it is true. And I'm out of the sappy romantic part I was trying to write that I'm not good at writing. And can move on to the darker content that I am good at writing. For anyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about, I'm writing a fanfic. Not like this. And not for publication. Just for me as a creative writing exercise. Though if anybody would like to read, DM me and we'll talk. Though not for publication, not for sharing anywhere. Excuse me. Excuse me. And that's why you don't chug drinks. Chapter 3. Let's see, how many pages do we have left? Yeah, we'll actually get out of here before midnight, which will be a first for quite a while for book club. But it's a dead night, so, what are you gonna do? I'll get some writing in, and I'll get to sleep at a semi-reasonable hour, probably. Kate is ecstatic. What was he doing at Clayton's? Her curiosity oozes through the phone. I'm in the depths of the stockroom trying to keep my voice casual. He was in the area. I think that is one huge coincidence, Anna. You don't think he was there to see you. My heart lurches at the prospect, but it's a short-lived joy. The dull, disappointing reality is that he was here on business. He was visiting the farming division at WSU. He's funding some research, I mutter. Oh yes, he's given the department a $2.5 million grant. Wow. How do you know this? Anna, I am a journalist, and I've written a profile on the guy. It's my job to know this. Okay, Carla Bernstein, keep your hair on. So, do you want these photos? Of course I do. The question is who's going to do them and where. You could ask him where. He says he's staying in the area. You can contact him. I have his cell phone number. Kate gasps. The richest, most elusive, most enigmatic bachelor in Washington State just gave you his cell phone number? Okay, could they fail the Bechdel test any harder right now? I mean, I think the entire book fails the Bechdel test. I'm pretty sure it does, but, like, come on. Yes? Hannah, he likes you. No doubt about it. Her tone is emphatic. Kate, he's just trying to be nice. No, people don't actually give you their cell phone number because they're just trying to be nice. They give you their cell phone number because they are into you. That's how that works. But even as I say the words, I know they're not true. Christian Grey doesn't do nice. That's an understatement. He does polite, maybe. And a small, quiet voice whispers, perhaps Kate is right. My scalp prickles at the idea that maybe, just maybe, he might like me. After all, he did say he was glad Kate didn't do the interview. I hug myself with quiet glee, rocking from side to side, entertaining the possibility that he might like me. Kate brings me back to the now. I don't know who will get to do the shoot. Levi, our regular photographer, can't. He's home in Idaho Falls for the weekend. He'll be pissed he blew an opportunity to photograph one of America's leading entrepreneurs. What about Jose? Great idea. You ask him. He'll do anything for you. Then call Gray and find out where he wants us. Kate is irritatingly cavalier about Jose. I think you should call him. Who, Jose? Kate scoffs. No, Gray. Anna, you're the one with the relationship. Relationship? I squeak at her, my voice rising several octaves. I barely know the guy. At least you've met him, she says bitterly. And it looks like he wants to know you better. Anna, just call him. She snaps and hangs up. She's so bossy sometimes. I frown at my cell, sticking my tongue out at it. I'm just leaving a message for Jose when Paul enters the stockroom looking for sandpaper. We're kind of busy out there, Anna, he says without acrimony. Yeah, sorry, I mutter, turning to leave. So how come you know Christian Grey? Paul's voice is unconvincingly nonchalant. I had to interview him for a student paper. Kate wasn't well. I shrugged, trying to sound casual, but doing no better than him. Christian Grey and Clayton's. Go figure. Paul snorts amazed. He shakes his head as if to clear it. Anyway, want to grab a drink or something this evening? Whenever he's home, he asks me on a date, and I always say no. It's a ritual. I've never considered it to be a good idea to date the boss's brother. And besides, Paul is cute in a wholesome, all-American boy-next-door kind of way. But he's no literary hero, not by any stretch of the imagination. Is Grey? My subconscious asks me, her eyebrows figuratively raised. I slap her down. Don't you have family dinner or something for your brother? That's tomorrow. Maybe some other time. Paul, I need to study tonight. I have finals next week. Anna, one of these days you'll say yes. He smiles as I escape to the store floor. See, again, we have a character that wants nothing from anyone, who's completely sexually repressed, who's not interested in dating anyone, but every guy is going to hit on her. Every single one. But I do places, Anna, not people, Jose groans. Jose, please, I beg. I pace the living room of our apartment, clutching my cell and staring out the window at the fading evening light. Give me that phone. Kate grabs the handset from me, tossing her silken reddish blonde hair over her shoulder. Listen here, Jose Rodriguez. If you want our newspaper to cover the opening of your show, you'll do this shoot for us tomorrow, capiche? Kate can be awesomely tough. Good. Anna will call back with the location and the call time. We'll see you tomorrow. She snaps my cell phone off. Sorted. All we need to do now is decide where and when. Call him. She holds the phone out to me. My stomach twists. Call Gray now. I scowl at her and reach into my back pocket for his business card. I take a deep, steadying breath and with shaking fingers dial the number. He answers on the second ring, his tone clipped, calm, and cold. Gray. Mr. Gray? It's Anastasia Steele. I don't recognize my own voice, I'm so nervous. There's a brief pause. Inside I'm quaking. Miss Steele, how nice to hear from you. His voice has changed. He's surprised, I think. And he sounds so warm. Seductive, even. Oh, dear God. My breath hitches and I flush. I'm suddenly conspicuous that Catherine Kavanaugh is staring at me, her mouth open, and I dart into the kitchen to avoid her unwanted scrutiny. We'd like to go ahead with the photo shoot for the article. Breathe, Anna, breathe. My lungs draw in a hasty breath. Tomorrow, if that's okay. Where would be convenient for you, sir? I can almost hear his sphinx-like smile through the phone. I'm staying at the Heathman in Portland. Shall we say 9:30 tomorrow morning? Okay, we'll see you there. I'm all gushing and breathy, like a child, not a grown woman who can vote and drink legally in the state of Washington. Okay, is that implying that she's like 19 or 20? Because isn't drinking age universally 21 in the States? So why would she be saying like in Washington unless they had a different drinking age? I look forward to it, Miss Steele. I visualize the wicked gleam in his eyes. How can he make 7 little words hold so much tantalizing promise? I hang up. Kate is in the kitchen and she's staring at me with a look of complete and utter consternation on her face. Anastasia Rose Steele. You like him. I've never seen or heard you so affected by anyone before. You're actually blushing. Oh, Kate, you know I blush all the time. It's an occupational hazard with me. Don't be ridiculous, I snap. She blinks at me with surprise. I very rarely have hissy fits, and I'm briefly relent. I just find him intimidating, that's all. So are you saying you're attracted to intimidating men? Because that would definitely hold true. Heathman, that figures, murmurs Kate. I'll give the manager a call and negotiate a space for the shoot. I'll make supper, then I need to study. I cannot hide my irritation with her as I open one of the cupboards to make supper. I'm restless that night, tossing and turning, dreaming of smoky gray eyes, coveralls, long legs, long fingers, and dark, unexplored places. Okay, that sounds like the dream where you're being chased by the serial killer, is what that sounds like, which would be accurate. I wake twice in the night, my heart pounding. Oh, I'm going to look just great tomorrow with so little sleep. I scold myself, punching my pillow, and try to settle. Heathman is nestled in the heart of downtown Portland. Its impressive brownstone edifice was completed just in time for the crash of the late 1920s. Jose, Travis, and I are traveling in my Beetle. Kate is in her CLK, since we can't all fit in my car. Travis is Jose's friend and gopher. He's here to help out with the lighting. Kate has managed to acquire the use of a room at the Heathman free of charge for the morning in exchange for a credit in the article. Because any, fancy schmancy building or hotel or whatever the hell this is would care about getting a mention in a student paper. No. Not a chance in hell. When she explains at reception that we're here to photograph Christian Grey, CEO, we are instantly upgraded to a suite. Just a regular sized suite, however, as apparently Mr. Grey is already occupying the largest one in the building. So why don't they just do it in his suite? It's probably like stunningly gorgeous and has like a balcony with great views, so why wouldn't they just do it there? Why do they need another suite in the same hotel? An overkeen marketing executive shows us up to the suite. He's terribly young and very nervous for some reason. I suspect Kate's beauty and commanding manner disarm him because he's putty in her hands. The rooms are elegant, understated, and opulently furnished. It's 9. We have a half hour to set up. Kate is in full flow. Jose, I think we'll shoot against that wall. Do you agree? She doesn't wait for his reply. Travis, clear the chairs. Anna, could you ask housekeeping to bring up some refreshments and let Gray know that we're here? Yes, mistress. She is so domineering. Like, it's almost like everyone that she's friends with is in some way that. Gee, could she have a type and absolutely no free will or personality? I roll my eyes, but do as I'm told. Half an hour later, Christian Grey walks into our suite. Holy crap. He's wearing a white shirt, open at the collar, and gray flannel pants that hang from his hips. His unruly hair is still damp from a shower. My mouth goes dry looking at him. He's so freaking hot. I'm gonna get so sick of being reminded of that. Gray is followed into the suite by a man in his mid-30s, all buzz-cut and stubble and in a sharp, dark suit and tie, who stands silently in the corner. His hazel eyes watch us impassively. Miss Steele, we meet again. Gray extends his hand, and I shake it, blinking rapidly. Oh my. He really is quite... As I touch his hand, I'm aware of that delicious current running right through me, lighting me up, making me blush, and I'm sure my erratic breathing must be audible. Mr. Gray, this is Catherine Kavanaugh, I mutter, waving a hand towards Kate, who's come forward, looking him squarely in the eye. The tenacious Miss Kavanaugh, how do you do? He gives her a small smile, looking genuinely amused. I trust you're feeling better. Anastasia said you were unwell last week. I'm fine, thank you, Mr. Gray. She shakes his hand firmly without batting an eyelid. I remind myself that Kate has been to the best private schools in Washington. Her family has money, and she's grown up confident and sure of her place in the world. She doesn't take any crap, and I'm in awe of her. Thank you for taking the time to do this. She gives him a polite, professional smile. It's a pleasure, he answers, turning his gaze on me, and I flush again. Damn it. This is Jose Rodriguez, our photographer, I say, grinning at Jose, who smiles with affection back at me. His eyes cool when he looks from me to Gray. Mr. Gray, he nods. Mr. Rodriguez. Gray's expression changes, too, as he appraises Jose. Where would you like me? Gray asks. His tone sounds vaguely threatening, but Catherine is not about to let Jose run the show. Mr. Gray, if you could sit here, please. Be careful of the lighting cables, and then we'll do a few standing, too. She directs him to a chair set up against the wall. Travis switches on the lights, momentarily blinding Gray, and mutters an apology. Then Travis and I stand back and watch as Jose proceeds to snap away. He takes several photographs, handheld, asking Gray to turn this way, then that, to move his arm and put it down again. Moving to the tripod, Jose takes several more while Gray sits and poses, patiently and naturally, for about 20 minutes. My wish has come true. I can stand and admire Gray from not too afar. Twice our eyes lock, and I have to tear myself away from his cloudy gaze. Enough sitting. Catherine wades in again. Standing, Mr. Gray? she asks. He stands and Travis scurries to remove the chair. The shutter on Jose's Nikon starts clicking again. I think we have enough, Jose announces 5 minutes later. Great, says Kate. Thank you again, Mr. Gray. She shakes his hand, as does Jose. I look forward to reading the article, Miss Kavanaugh, mutters Gray, and turns to see me standing by the door. Will you walk with me, Miss Steele? He asks. Sure, I say, completely thrown. I glance anxiously at Kate, who shrugs at me. I notice Jose scowling behind her. Good day to you all, says Gray as he opens the door, standing aside to allow me out first. Holy hell, what's this about? What does he want? I pause in the hotel corridor, fidgeting nervously as Gray emerges from the room, followed by Mr. Buzzcut in his sharp suit. I'll call you, Taylor, he murmurs to Buzzcut. Taylor wanders back down the corridor, and Gray turns his burning gray gaze to me. Crap. Have I done something wrong? Oh, note that is not the last time she will ever feel that in his presence. There are times when that is all she will feel in his presence. Deliberately so. I wondered if you would join me for coffee this morning. My heart slams into my mouth. A date? Christian Gray is asking me on a date. No, he's asking you for coffee. There's a difference. Slow your roll. He's asking if you want coffee. Maybe he thinks you haven't woken up yet. My subconscious whines at me in a sneering mood again. I clear my throat, trying to control my nerves. I have to drive everyone home, I murmur apologetically, twisting my hands and fingers in front of me. Taylor, he calls, making me jump. Taylor had been retreating down the corridor, turns and heads back towards us. Are they based at the university? Gray asks, his voice soft and inquiring. I nod, too stunned to speak. Because of course she is. Taylor can take them. He's my driver. We have a large 4x4 here, so they'll be able to take the equipment too. Mr. Gray, Taylor asks when he reaches us, giving nothing away. Please, can you drive the photographer, his assistant, and Miss Kavanaugh back home? Certainly, sir, Taylor replies. There. Now you can join me for coffee. Gray smiles as if it's a done deal. That is so, that would be such a red flag, and I get that he's, trying to do the, I'm the man, I'm taking charge, let me impress you with how I can handle a situation thing, but I don't find that impressive. If anything, I would find that extremely presumptuous, because maybe she doesn't want to have coffee with you, and she was just using that as an excuse. Or maybe her friends don't want to go with a random stranger bodyguard, because if I was the friends, I would not be cool with that. And also, why didn't they all just go in Kate's car? She's got a, freaking Mercedes that sounds like it's, pretty nice, so I'd imagine it's got some room. So why didn't they all just go in Kate's car? And who's going to drive Kate's car? Is the bodyguard going to drive everyone in Kate's car, or is he going to take the photographer and the assistant and she's still going to drive herself? There's a car situation to be dealt with. I frown. Mr. Gray, this really... Look, Taylor doesn't have to drive them home. I flash a brief look at Taylor, who remains stoically impassive. I'll swap vehicles with Kate if you give me a minute. Gray smiles, a dazzling, unguarded, natural, all teeth showing glorious smile. Did we need that many descriptive words? No. Oh my. He opens the door to the suite so I can go in. I scoot around him to re-enter the room, finding Catherine deep in conversation with Jose. Anna, I think he definitely likes you, she says with no preamble whatsoever. Jose glares at me with disapproval. But I don't trust him, she adds. I raise my hand up in the hope she'll stop talking. By some miracle, she does. Kate, if you take Wanda, can I take your car? Why? Christian Grey has asked me to go for coffee with him. Her mouth pops open. Speechless Kate. I savor the moment. She grabs me by my arm and drags me into the bedroom that's off the living room area. Anna, there's something about him. Her tone is full of warning. He's gorgeous, I agree, but I think he's dangerous, especially for someone like you. See, roommate knows what's what. Kate knows what's what. She sees the red flags and is trying to be a good friend. Okay? I may think she's a ditz and kind of stupid, but she's trying to be a good friend. Okay, she's trying to say, I'm seeing some warning things, and I know how naive and inexperienced you are, and this guy is definitely not. And you need to take some caution. What do you mean, someone like me? Someone who sounds like they were homeschooled their whole lives and didn't actually learn a goddamn thing. That's who. If we found out she was homeschooled until college, would you really be surprised? I demand, affronted. An innocent like you, Anna. You know what I mean, she says, a little irritated, and I flush. She's not wrong. Listen to the friend. Kate, it's just coffee. I'm starting my exams next week, and I need to study, so I won't be long. She purses her lips as if considering my request. Finally, she fishes her car keys out of her pocket and hands them to me. I hand her mine. I'll see you later. Don't be long or I'll send out a search and rescue. Thanks. I hug her. I emerge from the suite to find Christian Grey waiting, leaning up against the wall, looking like a male model in pose for some glossy high-end magazine. Okay, let's do coffee, I murmur, flushing a beet red. He grins. After you, Miss Steele. He stands up straight, holding his hand out for me to go first. I make my way down the corridor, my knees shaky, my stomach full of butterflies, and my heart in my mouth thumping a dramatic, uneven beat. I'm going to have coffee with Christian Grey, and I hate coffee. We walk together down the wide hotel corridor to the elevators. What should I say to him? My mind is suddenly paralyzed with apprehension. What are we going to talk about? What on earth do I have in common with him? His soft, warm voice startles me from my reverie. How long have you known Catherine Kavanaugh? Oh, an easy question for starters. Since our freshman year. She's a good friend. He replies noncommittally. What is he thinking? At the elevators, he presses the call button, and the bell rings almost immediately. The doors slide open, revealing a young couple in a passionate embrace inside. Surprised and embarrassed, they jump apart, staring guiltily in every direction but ours. Grey and I step into the elevator. I'm struggling to maintain a straight face, so I gaze down at the floor, feeling my cheeks turning pink. When I peek up at Grey through my lashes, he has a hint of a smile on his face. But it's hard to tell. The young couple says nothing, and we travel down to the first floor in embarrassed silence. We don't even have bland, piped elevator music to distract us. The doors open, and much to my surprise, Grey takes my hand, clasping it with his long, cool fingers. Excuse me. I feel the current run through me, and my already rapid heartbeat accelerates. As he leads me out of the elevator, excuse me, I swear I keep getting hiccups and then they stop. As he leads me out of the elevator, we can hear the surprised giggles of the couple erupting behind us. Grey grins. What is it about elevators? He mutters. Oh God, I remember all the elevator scenes in the movie, and they were some of the cringiest freaking moments always. We cross the expansive, bustling lobby of the hotel towards the entrance. But Grey avoids the revolving door, and I wonder if it's because he'd have to let go of my hand. Outside, it's mid-May. It's a mild May Sunday. The sun is shining and the traffic is light. Gray turns left and strolls to the corner, where we wait for the crosswalk to change. He's still holding my hand. I'm in the street, and Christian Grey is holding my hand. No one has ever held my hand. I feel giddy and I tingle all over. I attempt to smother the ridiculous grin that threatens to split my face in two. Try to be cool, Anna, my subconscious implores me. The green man appears and we're off again. We walk 4 blocks before we reach the Portland Coffee House, where Gray releases me to hold the door open so I can step inside. Why don't you choose a table while I get the drinks? What would you like? He asks, polite as ever. I'll have, English breakfast tea, bag out. He raises his eyebrows. No coffee? I'm not keen on coffee. He smiles. Okay, bag out tea. Sugar? For a moment I'm stunned, thinking it's an endearment. But fortunately my subconscious kicks in with pursed lips. No, stupid. To take sugar. No thanks. I stare down at my knotted fingers. Anything to eat? No, thank you. I shake my head and he heads to the counter. I surreptitiously gaze at him from beneath my lashes as he stands in line waiting to be served. I could watch him all day. He's tall, broad-shouldered, and slim, and the way those pants hang from his hips. Oh my. Once or twice he runs his long, graceful hair through his now dry but still disorderly hair. I'd like to do that. The thought comes unbidden into my mind and my face flames. I bite my lip and stare down at my hands again, not liking where my wayward thoughts are headed. It's the only thought she has around. She's like, until, as of now, this changes later, but as of now, she's the Maxim of this book, perpetually horny. Like, he's unlocked the secret to her horniness that has been suppressed. He found the cheat code to unlock slut in her vocabulary. Penny for your thoughts. Gray is back, startling me. I go crimson. I was just thinking about running my fingers through your hair and wondering if it would feel soft to the touch. I shake my head. He's carrying a tray which he sets down on the small, round birch veneer table. He hands me a cup and saucer, a small teapot, and a side plate bearing my lone tea bag, labeled Twinnings English Breakfast. My favorite. He has a copy that bears a wonderful leaf pattern imprinted in the milk. How do they do that? I wonder idly. He also bought himself a blueberry muffin. Putting the tray aside, he sits opposite me and crosses his long legs. He looks so comfortable, so at ease with his body, and I envy him. Here's me, all gawky and uncoordinated, barely able to get from A to B without falling flat on my face. Your thoughts? He prompts me. This is my favorite tea. My voice is quiet, breathy. I simply can't be sitting opposite Christian Grey at a coffee shop in Portland. He frowns. He knows I'm hiding something. I pop the tea bag into the teapot and almost immediately fish it out again with my teaspoon. As I place the used tea bag back on the side plate, he cocks his head, gazing at me quizzically. I like my tea black and weak, I mutter as an explanation. I see. Is he your boyfriend? Whoa, what? Who? The photographer, Jose Rodriguez. I laugh, nervous but curious. What gave you that impression? No, Jose's a good friend of mine, that's all. Why did you think he was my boyfriend? The way you smiled at him, and he at you. His gaze holds mine. He's so unnerving. I want to look away, but I'm caught spellbound. He's more like family, I whisper. Gray nods, seemingly satisfied with my response. Why would you care? Why would you care if he's satisfied with your response? Like, this He glances down at his blueberry muffin. His long fingers deftly peel back the paper, and I watch fascinated. Because she's never seen anybody unwrap a muffin. Jesus. Do you want some? He asks, and that amused secret smile is back. No thanks. I frown and stare down at my hands again. And the boy I met yesterday at the store, he's not your boyfriend? No. Paul's just a friend. I told you yesterday. Oh, this is getting silly. Why do you ask? You seem nervous around men. Holy crap, that's personal. Really, that's personal. He just asked you if 2 different guys were your boyfriend. But him saying, oh, you seem nervous around men in general, that's personal? I don't think she knows what the word personal means. Because my answer, I would have maybe told him, no, Jose is not my boyfriend. But when he asked about the second guy, it would have been none of your business. What are you doing? Like, if you want to know if I have a boyfriend, just ask me, do I have a boyfriend? You don't need to go through every guy you've seen me within, like, the vague vicinity of. Holy crap, that's personal. I'm just nervous around you, Gray. Again, that's in her head. I wish there was an easier way for me to say, like, what is an actual quote of her saying it and what's in her head. I might need to get, like, a little sign. Maybe I should make a sign to be, like, mental thought. Because I know that goes up as we go on. There's a lot more of her quote-unquote subconscious talking. I find you intimidating. I flush scarlet, but mentally pat myself on the back for my candor, and gaze at my hands again. I hear his sharp intake of breath. You should find me intimidating, he nods. You're very honest. Please don't look down. I like to see your face. How about don't tell me what to do? Oh, I glance at him and he gives me an encouraging but wry smile. It gives me some sort of clue what you might be thinking, he breathes. You're a mystery, Miss Steele. This is straight out of the Edward I Can't Hear Your Thoughts playbook. That's where entirely this comes from. That, oh, she's the only person that somebody who he said like 5 times he's good at reading people. Which makes sense for what we find out later about his character, that yes, he absolutely would be, because he's a child of abuse, so you get good at reading the room and reading a situation and reading people because you need to know if you need to run and hide. So it makes sense that he has very good people reading skills, but it's like implying she's the one person he can't read. And honey, that's because there's nothing there to read. She's too stupid and brainless and has no personality and no spine. And reads are reactionary. They are interpretive, and she doesn't respond to anything. So there's nothing to interpret. She is literally blank data. Therefore, no data. She is 0 returns. Mysterious? Me? There's nothing mysterious about me. I think you're very self-contained, he murmurs. Am I? Wow. How am I managing that? This is bewildering. Me? Self-contained? No way. Except when you blush, of course. Which is often. I just wish I knew what you were blushing about. He pops a small piece of muffin in his mouth and starts to chew it slowly, not taking his eyes off me. And as if on cue, I blush. Crap. Do you always make such personal observations? I hadn't realized I was. Have I offended you? He sounds surprised. No. I answer truthfully. Good. But you're very high-handed. Again, I'm not getting that interpretation off him. Like, I would just think he's a guy trying to make small talk and hint that he, like, finds you fascinating or different in some way, and that's why he's, wanting to spend time with you, because you're not the norm for him, and that has his attention. So he's trying to understand it. You're a puzzle he can't solve, a riddle he can't unriddle, as it were. I wouldn't necessarily be taking that as a compliment. He raises his eyebrows, and if I'm not mistaken, flushes slightly too. I'm used to getting my own way, Anastasia, he murmurs. In all things. I don't doubt it. Why haven't you asked me to call you by your first name? I'm surprised by my audacity. Why has this conversation become so serious? Nothing in this is serious. Absolutely nothing. This isn't going the way I thought it was going to go. I can't believe I'm feeling so antagonistic towards him. Take a hint and run. It's like he's trying to warn me off. The only people who use my given name are my family and a few close friends. That's the way I like it. Oh, he still hasn't said, call me Christian. He is a control freak. There's no other explanation. Or some people just don't like people calling them by their first name. I will correct people because it's a thing that like telemarketers and like salespeople or customer service people will just start using your first name. And I get, because I've done those jobs. So I have done those jobs. I know that it is something that you are actually taught to try and be like friendly or familiar or de-escalate to call somebody by their first name. However, I am from an older generation than my actual age, where you don't call me by my first name without my giving permission to do so. And you can blame that on my being raised by my grandparents when I was little, or them being Catholic, or my having standards, or whatever. But you don't call me by my first name without my giving you permission to do so. So I always correct people when it's like, a salesperson or customer service and they start calling me by my first name. I'll correct them and go, no, it's Miss and my last name. Also, I frequently get people who either say Ms., which I hate. Don't call me Ms., because I get it's the generic. If you don't know, you just say Miss, MS, for if you don't know somebody is married or single. But most places now, you have that information because they have the drop down of prefixes to your name, and so they have it. And I don't hide the fact that I am Miss. I quite like that. That's the way it is. And so, especially because of my age, once you get past like 25, everyone just assumes that you are a Mrs. And so, even in places where I have filled that in, especially like if I get a call from like Visa or something, they will do this all the time. They will call me Mrs. And I'm like, excuse me, I am not Mrs. And I actually get offended by that because I don't like it. I'm not a Mrs. You have that information, and don't call me by my first name. See, I have no hesitation whatsoever to correct someone and be like, no, to you it's Miss. Like, do not take that familiarity with me. You do not have permission. We are not friends. This is business, so you will address me in a professional fashion. I'm so sorry I'm so stiffly, but it did start raining, and that always makes me stiffly, so sorry. Where was I? I'm gonna start like getting a highlighter and just going down the page as I'm reading so that I don't lose my spot so much. I'm sorry. I'll figure it out. This is very badly edited. He is a control freak. There's no other explanation. And part of me is thinking maybe it would have been better if Kate had interviewed him. Two control freaks together. Plus, of course, she's almost blonde. Well, strawberry blonde. Like all the women in his office. And she's beautiful. My subconscious reminds me. I don't like the idea of Christian and Kate. I take a sip of my tea and Gray eats another small piece of his muffin. Are you an only child? He asks. Whoa. He keeps changing direction. Not really. He's just trying to find out stuff about you. Yes. Tell me about your parents. Go to hell. Why does he want to know this? It's so dull. My mom lives in Georgia with her new husband, Bob. My stepdad lives in Montesano. Montesano. Montesano? Okay, I'm sorry, whatever place that is, for utterly screwing up your name, but I've never heard of this place. Montesano. Montesano, I think. Sorry to people who live there. Your father? My father died when I was a baby. I'm sorry, he mutters. A fleeting, troubled look crosses his face. I don't remember him. And your mother remarried. I snort. You could say that. He frowns at me. You're not giving much away, are you? He says dryly, rubbing his chin as if deep in thought. Dude, you're having coffee. This is not the moment to go into her full life story. You kind of have to earn that. That is not a, coffee question. If somebody was asking me this over coffee, they'd be getting, negative answers. Yes, I am an only child. I don't mind telling you that. But talking about my parents or, what their situation is, that is not happening over coffee. Over what is not even a date. I'm pouring another drink. It's a pause. We've got 3 pages left. This is going to be the shortest book club ever. But hey, there's nobody watching, so meh. You really got to do more promotional stuff. I really do. I'm horrible at self-promotion. But we do need to get some more people up in here, so I will see over the next week what I can does. Don't expect much, but we will see what we can do. And of course, something has to go into my eye right now when I have my hands full. Not good. Oh, ow. Oh, it's probably kitty hair. I miss my kitty. I really miss my little kitty. It's hiding in the closet. Though I did find out, kitty smart, okay? Kitty dumb and he brain damaged, but he's smart because what he's done, because the work on the balcony is being done and all the concrete cutting and drilling makes the floor vibrate almost every day at some point. And then the noise, of course. The noise is one thing, though. It's the vibrations, I know, that are driving the kitty insane. So what he has done in his corner behind the box in the closet, where he is not, and you have no proof that he's there, and he doesn't, he claims that he is not there because he's kitty and he's not there, and how dare you say that he's in the closet just because, he is. But what he's done is he's stolen several clothes off the hangers, because he learned to do that from my kitty girl Jazzy, who passed away. But he learned how to pull the clothes off the hangers because she used to do that to make herself a nice little bed in the closet. So what he's done is he's stolen a lot of my clothes because I just put all my winter stuff away. And so he got into the bag that had my winter clothes in it, because my closet's not that big, so I have to rotate my winter and summer stuff. So the winter stuff is in bags right now. And what he did was got into the bag and pulled out some of my winter stuff, and he's made a pile in the corner. It's about this thick. It's about legitly 2 feet, because he pulled everything he could out the bag. It must have taken him a couple of days to do this, but it's thick stuff because it's winter clothes, so it's thicker and woolier. And so he's got a pile about this big where he is parked in the center. He's got an oval carved out where he parks himself, and there's a ring of fur because he sheds like mad. And so what he's done, as I realized, he's created a break between the floor that vibrates. I wear shoes in the house and I can feel it through my shoes and it bothers me, but I'm a human and I can rationalize and I can handle it most of the time, though my limits on that are certainly being tested. But he's a kitty. He can't rationalize it and he can't handle it. So what he's done is he's created this barrier between the floor
and him, because the clothes won't vibrate. They're too soft, and so they won't move when the floor moves. So when he's laying on this pile of clothes, he can't feel the floor vibrating, and that's why he's been so reluctant to leave the closet even when the noise is not happening, because it's not the noise, it's the vibrations that he's trying to avoid, because those are what are messing with his little kitty brain that he can't rationalize. And so that's why he wants to just stay on this island of clothes that he has created to make sense of the world, so that he's not losing his tiny little mind or whatever's left of it. Because like I said, he's brain damaged. And so that's why he's like staying on this pile of clothes and doesn't want to ever come out, because he doesn't know when the vibrations are going to come back. Because he doesn't have a sense of time, and he can't understand that, you know, like even though it doesn't get dark until like 9:30 now, because we're well into the summer, and they have to stop at 6, even though they haven't a couple of times. They're supposed to stop at 6. Kitty doesn't own a watch, so he doesn't know that. But he hasn't figured out that once it's dark, he's safe from the vibrations, so he can come out at night. He was doing that for the first week. But now we're 3 weeks in, and he's just like, nope, I'm living in your closet permanently. Send food. I'm not coming out. I'm just staying on my island, so I don't have to feel that ever, because I don't like it, and I'm a kitty. I feel so bad for him. Why is there a ring on my cup? I don't like that. Trying not to spill things on my desk anymore. Don't need any broken keyboards in the morning. Yummy. Okay, where were we? I'm really going to grab a highlighter and start marking this down. I think I have highlighters somewhere. It might be old and dead. I should check. But I swear to God, I'm going to grab a pen or something and start drawing a line through the lines so that I know where the fuck I am, because it's not going to... This is bad. Neither are you. You've interviewed me once already, and I can recollect some quite probing questions then. He smirks at me. Holy shit, he's remembering the gay question. Stop it with that! How did I not remember that there was this level of gay bashing crap in this book? Once again, I'm mortified. In years to come, I know I'll need intensive therapy to not feel embarrassed every time I recall the moment. I start babbling about my mother. Anything to block that memory. Or he just manipulated her into revealing more than she wanted to, clearly. By pretending to be embarrassed by a question that you should have like zero reaction to, other than to say, no, I'm not gay. My mom is wonderful. She's an incurable romantic. She's currently on her 4th husband, not how her mother was portrayed before, when she was a flaky ditz who might have mortgaged the house to go into some crazy candle making business that she discovered yesterday. But no, she's like caring and loving and whatever. Christian raises his eyebrows in surprise. I think that's like the 7th, 8th time that's happened. Stop with the repetition. But this book is like literally 90% repetition. I remember that. I miss her, I continue. She has Bob now. I hope he can keep an eye on her and pick up the pieces when her harebrained schemes don't go as planned. I smile fondly. I haven't seen my mom for so long. Christian is watching me intently, taking occasional sips of his coffee. I really shouldn't look at his mouth. It's unsettling. Do you get along with your stepfather? Of course, I grew up with him. He's the only father I know. And what's he like? Ray? He's taciturn. There's a way to describe a person.
That's it? Gray asked, surprised. I shrug. What does this man expect? My life story? No, honey, he's already paid like professional military badasses to not deep fake, why did I say deep fake? Deep background check you in ways that are probably extremely illegal. Taciturn like his stepdaughter, Gray prompts. I refrained from rolling my eyes. And also, E.L. James was hitting the right click thesaurus button even back then, because clearly he likes soccer, European soccer especially, and bowling, and fly fishing, and making furniture. He's a carpenter, ex-army. I sigh. You lived with him? Yes. My mom met husband number 3 when I was 15. I stayed with Ray. He frowns as if he doesn't understand. You didn't want to live with your mom? He asks. This really is none of his business. Then that's what you fucking say to him, honey! None of your business. Now I'm going to drink my tea. Would you like to tell me about your boat or something? Your turn. Quid pro quo. I'm going to have to clip that. I swear I'm going to choke myself doing it one of these days. Husband number 3 lived in Texas. My home was in Montesano. I'm going to have to look up where the hell this place is. And, my mom was newly married. I didn't want to be around all the humping. I stop. My mom never talks about husband number 3. Where is Gray going with this? This is none of his business. 2 can play at this game. Tell me about your parents, I ask. He shrugs. My dad's a lawyer. My mom is a pediatrician. They live in Seattle. Oh, he's had an affluent upbringing. And I wonder about a successful couple who adopts 3 kids and then one of them turns into a beautiful man who takes on the business world and conquers it single-handed. What drove him to be that way? His folks must be proud. Oh my god, she's ascribing so much garbage. He told you one thing, and she has just extrapolated magnificently from it to things she doesn't even know are true. And she's subscribing acumen to him that is not true. She has no proof of this. For all she knows, and I can't believe I'm going to make this reference, but I'm going to make this reference. For all she knows, he started out with a small loan of $1 million. I couldn't resist. It was right there. I couldn't resist it. It was right there, okay? Been drinking and I'm tired. I couldn't. We got 3 more pages. Shortest book club ever, but that's what happens when I have nobody to talk to. I really need to get highlighters. What do your siblings do? Elliot's in construction, and my little sister is in Paris, studying cookery under some renowned French chef. His eyes cloud with irritation. He doesn't want to talk about his family or himself. I hear Paris is lovely, I murmur. Why doesn't he want to talk about his family? Well, you didn't. You brought it up because you didn't want to talk about yours, so turnabout's fair play. Because he's adopted? It's beautiful. Have you been? He asks, his irritation forgotten, because he changes his mood like that. I've never left mainland USA. So now we're back to banalities. What is he hiding? What are you hiding? You changed the subject to his family because you didn't want to talk about yours. Which is fair, but you could have just said, let's not talk about family, or I don't discuss family with strangers, or none of your business. You had options. Would you like to go to Paris? I squeak. This has thrown me. Who wouldn't want to go to Paris? Of course, I concede. but it's England that I'd really like to visit. Oh God, this is why the Mr. and the Mrs. are set in England. There's going to be a crossover. Third book on that series, I predict crossover. Because we already know they're related. I predict crossover. Oh, how did I not see it coming? There's going to be crossover on the third book. They're going to have like a christening or something where the whole family's going to come. And it's going to be implied that Christian and Anastasia are there. And their kids. Because I think they have kids by the end of this. Or maybe they don't. Maybe I'm thinking of Hunger Games. I don't remember. But he cocks his head to one side, running his index finger across his lower lip. Oh my. Now I want to do George Takei. Oh my. That was probably really bad. My apologies to George Takei. Because I blink rapidly. Concentrate, Steele. Again, don't refer to yourself like that in your own head or there's something wrong with you. Itchy. It's the home of Shakespeare, Austen, the Bronte sisters, Thomas Hardy. I'd like to see the places that inspired those people to write such wonderful books. All this talk of literary greats, she misspelled greats there, reminds me that I should be studying. I glance at my watch. I better go. I have to study. For your exams? Yes, they'll start Tuesday. Where's Miss Kavanaugh's car? In the hotel parking lot. I'll walk you back. Thank you for the tea, Mr. Gray. He smiles his odd, I've got a whopping big secret smile. You're welcome, Anastasia. It's my pleasure. Come. He commands, and holds his hand out to me. I take it, bemused, and follow him out of the coffee shop. We stroll back to the hotel, and I'd like to say it's companionable silence, but he at least looks his usual calm, collected self. As for me, I'm desperately trying to gauge how our little coffee morning has gone. I feel like I've been interviewed for a job, but I'm not sure for what. Do you always wear jeans? He asks out of the blue. Mostly. He nods. We're back at the intersection, across the road from the hotel. My mind is reeling. What an odd question. And I'm aware that our time together is limited. This is it. This was it. And I've completely blown it. I know. Perhaps he has someone. Okay, she has said repeatedly that she's like not interested. And that he is not interested in her. And then she's annoyed that he asks her all these personal questions. And now she's like, oh, I blew it. I totally could have like... What? You could have what? What do you even want? Do you know? I don't think she has any clue what she wants. But now she feels like she missed out on something that she didn't want in the first place and has been denying the entire time that she wants. Do real people ever act like this? I feel like no. Do you have a girlfriend? I blurt out. Holy crap, I just said that out loud. Well, he asked you like 3 times if various guys were your boyfriend, so I think it's fair play. His lips quirk up in half a smile and he peers down at me. No, Anastasia. I don't do the girlfriend thing. Oh, I forgot. He makes a point of saying that. Ew. Oh. What does that mean? He's not gay. Oh, maybe he is. He must have lied to me in the interview. Oh, really? Because that's what that means. It can't mean that he just isn't into commitment. But no, I don't do the girlfriend thing. It has to mean, oh, he's secretly gay. Again, how did this book not get torn apart for gay bashing? Because it really feels like it is. For a moment, I think he's going to follow up with some explanation, some clue to his cryptic statement. But he doesn't, and I have to go. I have to try to reassemble my thoughts. I have to get away from him. I walk forward and I trip, stumbling headlong into the road. Shit, Anna, Craig cries. He tugs the hand he's holding so hard I fall back against him just as a cyclist whips past, narrowly missing me, heading the wrong way up a one-way street. It all happens so fast. 1 minute I'm falling, the next I'm in his arms and he's holding me tightly against his chest. I inhale his clean, wholesome scent. He smiles of freshly laundered linen and some expensive body wash. How do you know it's expensive? It's intoxicating. I inhale deeply. Okay, what is it with Neil James and scents? Because this was a recurring thing in the Mr. and the Mrs. We know exactly what their scents are. I still remember. Alessia is was it lavender and roses? And he's evergreen and sandalwood, because they kept making a joke that they're going to have a perfume and a cologne made out of that. I'd stand by that, by the way. If those products come into existence, I called it, because they definitely will. But I still remember that because she said it so many freaking times. And so here, again, we have people smelling each other, which I've never been tempted to smell somebody else in my life. And I have caught a couple guys, like, smelling my hair from behind me, or like that thing. I've always found it creepy because it always reminded me of Judge Claude Frollo in The Hunchback of Notre Dame when he sniffs Esmeralda's hair and she calls him out on being a creepy pervert. I remind everyone that according to Disney canon, when that movie came out, Judge Claude Frollo was 70 years old and Esmeralda was 14. Are you okay? He whispers. He has one arm around me, clasping me to him, while the fingers of his other hand softly trace my face, gently probing, examining me. His thumb brushes my lower lip, and his breath hitches. He's staring into my eyes, and I hold his anxious, burning gaze for a moment. Or maybe it's forever. But eventually my attention is drawn to his beautiful mouth, and for the first time in 21 years, I want to be kissed. I want to feel his mouth on mine. End of chapter. But I bring this up. She said that she's legal to drink in Washington State. And now she just said she's 21. 21 is drinking age anywhere in the US of A. There are, I believe, some states that were or used to be lower than that. I think they don't have a national drinking age. But 21 is the high end. So if she's 21, she can drink in any state. By the way, where I am in Ontario, drinking age it's half and half. It's 19 if you're in a bar or a restaurant, but you can legally drink at 18 in a private home. But in the States, it's usually 21. So if she's 21, she can drink in every state. So they didn't need to make a point of, oh, she's old enough to drink in Washington State, which made me think she was younger than that, because it was implying it was only that state, and there are other states where she wouldn't be legal to drink. Apparently not. She's legal drinking age in all of the US of A. So that was just really bad writing. Or maybe James hadn't decided how old she was yet. But this is ridiculous. But we are in the end of the chapter. That is 3 chapters. We have officially started. We are past the point of no return. So I hope you will all come along and watch me suffer through reading 50 Shades of Grey in my official tie. See how the pattern? See the tie pattern? It's the official 50 Shades tie pattern tie that I will be wearing every week, no matter what else I am wearing. I will be wearing this tie, and I'll get better at tying it. But thank you all for being here. I know it was short this week, but everybody's busy. I didn't have anyone to play with. But hopefully next week will be better. I hope everyone will come back and join us. If you are new to book club, welcome. I hope we can count on you being here more, and please be active in the chat. Like, comment, subscribe, and above all, love a fur baby. And I will see you all next week. Thank you for watching. I've been Insane Lane. Bye-bye.